The episode you're about to listen to was probably one of the top 5 that we've ever done. And in just, I guess, Murphy's Law, right? First time in 250 some odd episodes that we had an audio malfunction, an audio glitch. So the audio is there. It's not great. Just save the comments because we know that it's not great. There's going to be subtitles on there. You'll be able to hear what's being said, just not at the same level or quality that you're used to. We apologize, but
turn it up.
Turn it up.
Listen in.
Watch.
Some really good content. That was a heck of a good time. Amazing dude, amazing info.
And you can't excuse to get them back out for round 2.
You do it round 2, but you just can't. You can't not use what's there because you can't recreate it. You know, you can't fake some of the stuff that happened. You know, so
look past it.
Enjoy.
Just think of it like a Tim Strange podcast.
Well,
it's maybe not like it's not the best audio, but it's still pretty good. Listen, enjoy.
I was in kindergarten, and all the kids were supposed to draw something, and I drew a fire truck, and the teacher kind of like called my mom in and was like, hey, you see this? And I had drawn the fire truck with all the gauges and like all the hoses and the nozzles and like everything, a stupid detail for a kindergarten. And we went to lunch. And we walked into this lunch, and here sits like Coddington, Frizio, like all these builders from out west. They were all having like a get-together lunch with Street Rider. And I was just shitting myself.
You're just a kid.
Wow, this is these guys, you know.
You had made it, and you just got into the industry.
Just got into it. So we're talking about what they were going to be building for the Riddler at the time, Indy Nationals, and they might have been probably talking about AMBR, but not like we do today. They were talking about the cars they were building, and as they talked, I was sketching on napkins and placeholders that I had because I always got a Sharpie on me. So I'm drawing these cars. And at the end of that lunch, I got up and handed each of those guys drawings of the cars they were talking about. And immediately they were just like, who are you? Where are you from? What's going on?
Cool.
And I had work immediately. That's why I got out of hot rods and went to restoring Indy cars. It takes the customer out of it. So the customer's opinion no longer matters. If you got a customer that loves pink wheels and you build him a hot rod, he's got enough money, you might put pink wheels on. Yeah. But this Indy car, I can show him the photo and say, these are the wheels it's getting. Because this is what I have. I know you like pink wheels, but
you can put money on those.
So like,
welcome back to another episode of Oil and Whiskey. This week, first of all, this episode was brought to you by Cheers. This week we have the man, the myth, the legend, and this actually fits. This is the most recently self-proclaimed Fire Chicken Facilitator.
That's right.
Fire Chicken Facilitator.
That's right.
Calling it?
Yeah, I've become the fire chicken guy all of a sudden.
Yeah, we saw your handiwork.
Josh Shaw. Man, he really appreciates you coming over to us.
Thank you. It's an honor to come here. You know, we've all been in the same business for about 30 years. We're in the same circles, and it's cool that, you know, what you guys do at the front lines, and then some of my work's kind of like the work behind the scenes that you see at the end. And it's just an honor to be here and say hi to you guys. Tell some good stories.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm sure you've got tons of them.
Oh, yeah.
You've got tons of them.
I took a rough road.
Yeah.
The roundabout way.
Yeah. We're stoked to have you, man. I know, we go way back, but, you know, I've followed your career. The stuff you do, it's like a totally different path than anybody else out there. You're into some wild stuff, so there's definitely some cool shit on the back there.
Yeah, it's always shocking. It's always shocking to see, like, oh, Josh Shaw did that too. Oh, he did that. I didn't know that he could do that, but he was involved in that.
The name gets brought up. We've never met. Today was the first time we've ever met. I've known of you, and like to Phil's point, no matter what style or thing, and it could be a welded bracket, it could be a painted stripe, it could be a pulled. They just pulled. You know, this was Don Garlitz's junior dragster. You know, Josh Shaw did. And like,
There's always that, and that's always followed by, oh yeah, fucking Josh is bad. Yeah, Josh Shaw, yeah.
Exactly.
There's always that element.
Exactly.
That's where you live. Oh yeah, fucking Josh Shaw, yeah.
That's kind of just below the surface. That's sometimes better that way.
Yeah.
The hands-in stuff is, absolutely amazing. Super excited to hear the story and how this all happened. But you did bring some things.
Yeah, I brought you guys some stuff. I'm always cleaning out old garages and old collections, and this was a poster that was in somewhere. You guys, it's Chicago based, so there you go. That is an old Chicago race poster.
Oh, shit.
I'm quite sure it's a reproduction, but it's a nice burning.
Great.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was a real race. That era, the teens era, is becoming one of my favorite eras to study the race car.
Panoramic slide.
Yeah, there you go.
So the teens is an era that you're.
It is. It's funny. It's the more and more you are around vintage race cars and work on them and build them and race them and drive them. You study what they were doing and what was done, and as time goes on, I keep leaning towards older and older and older. And right now, I've been into the 20s era Miller stuff for a long time, but even like the teens era stuff and I call it the aughts, the O's, the 1900s, like the ragtime racers like Bob Green, and those kind of guys. It's so fascinating. We're talking about like the Vander Cup era when they were running the very first automobile races weren't on a closed circuit. They would race from like Chicago to Indianapolis.
Okay.
And there were no roads. It was like dirt roads, horse paths, and they'd just be like, okay, you 10 guys, go.
Yeah.
And we'll telegram who gets to Indianapolis first.
There's been some dirty shit that went on.
Oh, yeah, there was. But if you think like we all go to the Cannonball Run like, oh, I'd load it on a plane to get it there. I'd load it on a train. None of that exists.
Yeah.
Like horse, you're not going to pull the horse quicker. So like, and all they cared about then was would it make it there?
There wasn't
Would it even make it?
in that era. There wasn't an auto parts store like on every corner.
Yeah.
You're
A blacksmith. The blacksmith was a saver. Like you read the stories of these guys racing then, and it was always, the drive belt broke, so we found the local saddle maker, and he made us a drive belt. And then a spindle broke, and we had to find a blacksmith to hammer forge, weld this thing. And it's so cool story. That's why I like it. The more you study it, you get into his early teen eras, like that poster. Those guys were a different breed. They were ultimate daredevils because they were going into the unknown. No one had done it.
so probably a ripper cigarette too while you're drinking.
Yeah, I'll sip a little bit. I don't drink much anymore. I quit drinking. Not like a total dry, but I'll sip once. It's funny. I drank with most people listen to know from out there. I did plenty of partying and drinking.
Yeah.
And now it'll take me all night to drink a Jack and Coke, and I won't feel good.
Yeah.
So my body was like, enough.
Dude, I know.
No more.
I'm finally getting there. I think we all probably, I can speak for, all of us hit it pretty hard in the early stages of our career.
Yeah.
Almost like rock star level, without the chicks and the buses and the cool stuff. But the booze was there.
Yeah, the booze and the hot
Well,
rods.
dude, it is hard to bounce back from it now.
Oh, yeah. But thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I think it's like a door popper analogy. Back in the day, just shaved door angles, right? But door popper in my mind, it was always once you installed that, there's a finite number of pops. The counter is basically going down. You get 1,000 pops.
You're lucky.
Every time, it's like, shut that. It's the same thing on like drinks.
Yeah.
Body. You have X amount of number of nights out and debauchery and hangovers, and
then it hits.
once you start getting to that point, it's like, hey,
You're done.
counter's almost over. Like you need to do anything there.
Yeah. Oh, we're there.
Yeah. Oh, podcast doesn't help. Because you could go for a week and be like, oh, you know what? I've done good all week long. Get back with a couple of drinks this weekend. But when you drink as much as we do on Podmas, is
You don't want to drink on weekends.
yeah, but then it's kind of like, hey, you know what? It's just Saturday. I don't take it easy on Sunday, and then Sunday happens. So, hey, we'll go out for you drink.
Why not? If
Like it's just a couple of
Beers, some big shit. I couldn't imagine really owning a bar or a club and being around it all the time. Because now that I don't drink, I can't be around like bars. A bunch of bars. I'm just these people allowed.
Yeah.
But I was that guy.
Yeah.
Like I was totally that loud mouth guy.
We don't get old. That's what happens.
About the stories of you and Race.
Yes.
Around.
Yes. Race were just a you a good dude. That's how I ended up in Detroit, like going to Detroit. Race was from Detroit. I was from Cincinnati, about an hour east of Cincinnati, out in the cornfields. And I was at Good Guys Indianapolis, back when Good Guys Indy was the one. Yeah. Like everyone camped. I mean, you camped across the street. That was a whole party scene. And then I met
Chicken Boyd's hand come in.
yeah. I can remember seeing what was the 57, the dark blue 57.
The Budweiser.
Oh, Shazam! I remember seeing Shazam.
Not the Budweiser one.
And it blew my mind. Yeah, but I met Race there at Indy, and he just was like immediately my buddy. Hey, and he knew what I was, and just, I'm building this, and now race just 1,000 miles an hour. And
For the younger listeners, I think you coached it. Race, get fellow regular race, yeah.
Race Urticel from Detroit. His real name is Race.
Detroit.
Detroit, all the way. He would yell Detroit at the top of his lungs all the time. He would yell all the time. Cuss, bang, cuss.
Yeah, we thought fucking was your first name. Fucking Josh Shaw. Fucking Josh Shaw.
Yeah.
Fucking Josh Shaw.
Yeah. First guy I ever saw with like full sleeve tattoos that were full colorful and actually done decent. Yeah. I was like,
Best hairline in the industry by far.
Yeah.
and an awesome dad. Rudy's a shit. And I hadn't talked to Race, and we talk online, like we'll send each other messages occasionally, but I haven't seen him in person in years.
Is that Denver?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah. Doing good.
He's
Family.
one of a kind, dude. We'll run into, and it's not every year, but we'll cross paths usually only at SEMA. And it's like, did you pick up right where we left off?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. It needs to break that.
That's good.
Yeah, we're bombing around. Where's Denver? Denver is is the car. The blanket has ever amused my mind as
Had a big Impala, didn't he? A big Chevy.
We had a Rivy too.
Rivy.
The Rivy. That was good. Okay. Yep.
That tear around. It's asterisk preeminent.
Yep. I had my sedan then. It was fresh built and just terrorizing.
Yep.
My theory with that whole era, when I built that car, it was my first hot rod I built. I came from mini trucking and got into my family was hot rodding, so you were around hot rods. That was my first hot rod. I had a 55 sedan delivery before that my dad bought it when I was a little kid, and I was gonna build it, and I'll date myself. I had bought 15-inch wide Chevy Rallies to tub it, because that's, and then 15 by 4.5, because that's what you did there. This is early 90s. And I turned 16 and just didn't want the 55 anymore. I wanted a hot rod. Wanted a 32. So sold 55. Went on the look for a body, put an advertisement roundup for a 32 two-door sedan, chopped or unchopped. We found one up in Pennsylvania it had been in a crash, and they pulled the body off. The body wasn't hurt, but like the chassis and everything was jumped. And they pulled the body off, and I bought it for, I think, $200, which was like all the money I had at that time. But I built that car, and you've seen the old history movies, and like we all know the history of hot rodding. How in the early days, hot rodding was like looked down upon. They were the bad kids, but they were the hoodlums.
The outlaw.
They were the outlaws. They were the bad kids, and there's those old like black and white, movies where the kids tear around the hot rods and you messing with the cops. I wanted to do that. Like that was my mentality. Yeah, and I tried.
You thought if you spun the tire enough, it burst into flames. You let it down.
Yeah, I went into it that mentality of like, I want this hot rod, and that I prefer the hell-raising menace to society hot rod style. We tried it.
Yeah.
We kind of did it. Whether guys liked it or not, we did it. And there's things about it that are awesome. There's things about this not, but we did it.
Yeah, we all tried. Yeah, we didn't do it as cool, but we did it at the wrong time, because when we got into it, there were street rods, not hot rods. Everybody had a pause. Everybody hit the pause on like sort of cool nostalgic hot rods, and it was probably not the best era for hot rods. They had really 20-inch wheels and swoopy things and passive wild
Fiberglass everything.
Yeah,
Hard to get
solid
out.
color, everything.
yeah, kind of hard. Yeah, hard to be bad or really badass when we're your collared Roadster Shop shirt and like. But we sure tried. We were tearing up hotels and fucking burning it down.
A
But
lot of that. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's just the stuff we got away with, and we did. You can never do the day. And we always heard our dad say that.
Yep.
You heard about it. My dad was a hot rodder and drag racer, and he had a crew of guys that they all were hellraisers, and I would hear their stories, and it was always followed up like, you could never get away with that today, and you couldn't, but we tried.
What's the first set of skills that you're starting to pick up at a young age? Was it on the fab side? Was it on the art side? Like, what are you doing?
Definitely the art side. My dad is in part a really good artist. He does pinstriping, lettering, like the painting all the walls here. He's big in the trucking industry. He pinstripes and letters trucks. Still to this day, he's booked like 2-3 months out year round. So I grew up in an art family doing drawing and artwork. I can remember there's a story in our household where I was in kindergarten and all the kids were supposed to draw something, and I drew a fire truck, and the teacher kind of like called my mom in and was like, "Hey, you need to see this." And I had drawn the fire truck with all the gauges, and like all the hoses and all the knobs and like everything, a stupid detail for a kindergarten.
I'm sure that's right, too.
Probably. I'm sure it had lettering on it. And so that was like, it was all our work at first. And then I grew up around hot rods and racing. So I wanted to design hot rods, do concept drawings like Chick Foose and Ken Youngblood and Steve Standard. That was my thing. That's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You get the tool rod shirt on too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do love that.
One of the best.
I see him comment on some posts. Right? He was, I wouldn't say he's a fan because I don't know, but he's aware of the podcast. He's aware enough to make some comments here and there. So
I'm blown away every time I see his stuff. When you see it in person, you're like, it just doesn't make sense that you can do that with pencil.
Yeah. He's well right now. I went to art school, went to college, Columbus College of Art Design, to do concept drawings. And then I was building, like I said, I was building mini trucks, so I was getting into welding. The welding side came from my grandpa, on my mom's side actually, worked for General Electric jet engines there in Cincinnati, and he was a welder and fabricator there. And I can remember him having me stick weld when I was very young, 7 or 8, showing me stick welding. And then my first MIG welder I bought, he showed me how to use. And I still have stuff he welded and fabricated. It's really cool. And he was a neat guy. He designed and built an engine stand at General Electric that you guys will love because we were just looking at the jigs.
yeah.
He and another guy, they got notoriety for it. They built this engine stand that is on wheels, and you build the jet engine on it. And as you build the jet engine can rotate 360 degrees and get to everything throughout the entire build, the whole assembly line. It's on this one stand. And it goes through the factory, and when it gets to the end, you can wheel it in the test room, and that engine stand can attach itself to the floor and hold on while they test run it. And then they take it out, pick the engine off, and that engine stand goes back to the end line. So he was designing and building those stands, which was really cool. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I've done. So got him that later, but it was always artwork.
What year did you go to the design college?
Late 90s, from 95 to 2000. Graduated college in 2000. And I was racing dirt cars full time then, but had built my sedan and just finished my sedan. And my dad had a 32 Ford truck he had bought off George Poteet. And,
Okay.
Not the Hillborn truck that he's got now,
Right.
A different one. And I wanted to design hot rods for the builders, and I wanted to build hot rods. But we were at the race every Saturday night, and it just was clashing. It wasn't working. Now, I remember the last season we were racing was in 1999. We were racing. We were on a championship year. We won the championship that year. We'd won like 6 features. And every Saturday night, my dad and I were sitting at the racetrack saying, Knoxville Nationals are going on right now. All our buddies are down at Louisville. All our buddies are at Columbus. And here we are at the racetrack. And like, yeah, it was fun. We were winning, but we wanted to be at the hot rod shows. And like decided, I need to stop racing. I'll focus on hot rods. So I retired from full-time racing in 2000 to start designing and build hot rods.
What was the first, after college, quit racing? What's the first pay design gig?
I went to work for Wade Hughes Hot Rod Shop in Cincinnati. He's the Wade Hughes Ohio Heat Hot Rod Flames.
Yeah.
We'll get to. I went to work for him, literally sweeping the floors in Santa Bondo, like the cliche of get a job sweeping floors. That's
True.
true.
Rated circle back when we were talking about probably always stuff this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Or this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
You left your winning race car career.
Yeah, walked away, man.
Sweeper floors.
Sweep floors, exactly. And then I was working for Wade, and I wasn't doing the Flames yet. That was still Bill Rowe and Jim Farr, was known as Dauber. But Jerry Dixie of Street Rodder Rotor fame.
Damn. And haircut thing.
The magic mullet.
Name hasn't popped up.
He's he's awesome, and I owe him a ton. And he rebuilt a Street Rodder Rotor car at Wade Hughes' shop, and I did a concept drawing of it with flames and like going down the road. they ran that drawing in Street Rider magazine, and that got me hooked up with Street Rider magazines, doing artwork for them. But Wade Hughes knew what I wanted to do, so Wade told Jerry, "Hey, we're building this car, but I'm going to send one of my employees with the car because it was leaving Cincinnati, and Jerry was going to drive it from Cincinnati to Bakersfield, California, to the opening nationals, and then back to Knoxville on the main voyage." And Wade said, "I want to send a ride-along mechanic, this young kid that looking for us." And I found out later Dixie was not cool with that, which I don't like.
Dixie's got his, like, he's got a plan. He's
Yeah,
across the
exactly,
country.
exactly. So Wade somehow talked him into it.
He was
And,
not happy.
and I was 22 years old, 21 or 22. I hopped in with Jerry Dixie and off to California I went to make my dreams. And we got to Memphis, Tennessee, and an axle bearing went out for the car. And I fixed it. Like, we went to AutoZone, got a bearing they had in stock for this 8-inch rear end. Jerry called Vernon Walker Radiator. Vernon had a restored 1950s Texaco gas station in his backyard with a lift and everything. We took it in there. I fixed the axle bearing, had the car ready to go in like 2 hours. Dixie was cool after that.
Did Jerry just roll that bearing around in his hair to lift it up a little?
Yeah, exactly. So Dixie was cool after that. You know, he liked having me along. In fact, I rode along for 3 more years.
Wow,
really?
But the cool story about that trip was I went to California. We got to California, and Dixie had to have a meeting with the Street Rider people. So I hung out in like the parking garage of McMullen, August at the time, and I found a mini truck down there I took pictures of. And so we went to a lunch after that. Brian Brennan came down, and Brennan's so cool, still is. And he was super nice to me. We went to lunch. And we walked into this lunch, and here sits like Coddington, Brizio, like all these builders from out west. They were all having like a get together lunch with Street Rider, and I was just shitting myself.
You're just a kid.
Wow, these guys, you know, just
He had made it, and you just got into the industry.
just got into it. So
Sweep the floors goes one by.
exactly,
If you do it good, it does.
yeah. So I sat at this big table, and these guys were talking about what they were going to be building for the Riddler at the time, Indy Nationals, and they might have been probably talking about AMBR, but not like we do today. They were talking about the cars they were building, and as they talked, I was sketching on napkins and placeholders that I had because I always got a Sharpie on me. So I'm drawing these cars, and at the end of that lunch, I got up and handed each of those guys drawings of the cars they were talking about, and immediately they were just like, "Who are you? Where are you from? What's going
That's
on?"
cool.
And I had work immediately from those
He knew
guys.
exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, when I tell that story now, it makes so much sense. But I think, damn,
Time you're just doodling.
yeah, I was just kind of doing, you know, and
But
I was always
that's
doing.
still some balls. I mean, not in a bad way.
maybe there's a fine line between balls and stupidity, but like,
They're always is. Oh, right.
but it's the same thing, you know.
But yeah, not in a bad way.
I wasn't like overpowered by this guys. I was just like, hey, here's a drawing of a car you're talking about. You know, being nice, like you're awesome to me. Here's a gift.
You did it the right way. You did it right. But there's so many younger kids you talk to, you know, and they're sometimes, you know, it's better than being overly confident, but sometimes it's like, oh man, you know, we're shy, I want to show our work.
Yeah.
And you're not even asking for business. You're just like, hey, y'all are conversating.
Well,
I'm doodling. Here you go.
Yeah.
The theme we keep seeing, we've had a bunch of younger dudes on the podcast, and we're trying to like rub elbows with those guys, promote and get some of these younger dudes, lift them up, right? But a lot of these young guys, I'd say almost all of them, they don't have like how we were, where you walked into that room and you looked at those guys like gods. They're not. That's not a thing anymore. Like
Yeah, you're right.
they don't have these. They're not looking at like the Ring Brothers or like Troy or anybody in the industry as like these leaders. They're sort of like just doing their thing. It's funny.
That's
Some of them
you
probably
know,
do
I
it.
never thought of that.
That's been like a theme that we've noticed.
Social media kind of did that, but
Yeah,
like,
you're blasted with so many of them.
you
don't
feel
have-
like you already know them, and they're just one of the other developers.
I also
For me-
think like they're humble to the fault. You know, which is good. You don't. We all talked about too big of egos, and it's great to see the pendulum swing. But sometimes there's probably a happy medium, and it's like, dude, be a little bit more prideful in your work. Take some credit that you have done some great shit. Oh, you know, it's like,
Yeah, I thought of that, but you're right. It's different today.
Yeah.
Because when I walked that room, I was just awestruck.
Yeah.
Those are the guys I've been reading about forever.
Oh.
You know, and even, yeah, it was wild. But it worked out. I had work from those guys, and then Street Rider magazine, I did a lot of work for them. Like they would call, running a story, want a drawing of like a car. And then I started drawing the Road Tour cars. I was drawing those like concepts for those or whoever was building it. It worked out good.
There was so much good shit through that back in the day. I mean, not to bag on the magazine stuff. That's been, pretty cliche. Because point in time to start going down that path. So that big old thick book, and it wasn't ad after ad and then show coverage, and there was multiple stories about this artist doing this and this build is happening here. Again, you weren't back to Phil's point. It wasn't like it was at your fingertips on social media all the time that you were inundated with it. It was that once a month, so it was your snapshot into what's going on. And the stuff that was going on in California might as well have been on the other side of other side of the world. It was that other side.
You're right.
And
If the magazine put somebody in there like that was a huge
That's
deal.
that was it.
In LA stuff, like it's there, the shit.
My parents' basement, my dad has a sign shop in the basement, and there's like racks of magazines, but there's a whole stack of magazines that are just magazines that like I had stuff in, and it's not just because like yes, his son, but it was a big deal for like my car showed up on page 37 at the Knoxville Nationals. This is awesome, because there was no social media. No one else was going to see your hot rod unless it was in a magazine.
Yeah. I remember you take it for granted now. It's funny because our version of it was zooming in, where you just get closer to the page, right? Because especially in some fabrication, like, oh man,
Something like this.
when you get closer, that I remember, future had come obviously, but you're thinking like, why isn't it more clear? Like, your printing was only so good on a paper, You're like, man, I wish I could see exactly how they scalloped that or where that was. Now you take it for granted, like everything's at HD. You can zoom all the way down and see the rivet on the back side.
You see a lot of things in HD.
Plus nowadays
Depends on which way you scroll, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, how did that happen?
Plus nowadays you follow the build.
Yeah.
Like on a level we never thought of.
Right.
The only follow the build back in the day was a tech article.
Yeah.
Like they did a tech article on how to put the rear end in that car. So you got to actually see the brackets.
Yep.
That's the only time ever, unless you saw it personal.
Right.
Now you can just follow the build from day one and see everything, which is awesome, but wasn't like that.
No, and those things were super useful back then too, because where else were you going to get that? Where's the only source?
Yeah, that's why I really always will love Roadster Shop so much. They used to do a bare metal feature and stuff like that, and it was full page of just the rear frame rail with that stuff, and the quality was amazing. You could remember how like now you come to custom, you're zooming through creative fabrication. Oh, that's fucking cool. Maybe go to the page, you look through, excellent. Go through the thing. On a magazine, like it was, you didn't flip through. Like
we sat down.
You were sort of in awe of it.
And you're consuming every bit of it. Even a new logo for a new company, I mean, you're just like everything.
To this day, anytime me and my buddies take a picture of anything in bare metal, we call it a Roadster shoot.
So,
It's not a bare metal shoot. Like, let's do a Roadster shoot. Because everyone knows what you mean. Like, let's mock this thing up to bare metal and have it looking beautiful.
Yep.
We did that with the Dynamat coupe before we chopped it.
Did you?
Yeah, and no one ever saw them, but it's pictures of that car in bare metal before I chopped it. Yeah, just because of that.
I make used to get to that far into that. Those are cool as shit.
That came later. That was so in early 2000s, from 2000 to 2005. Those 5 years, I did a ton of artwork. Enough artwork to get pretty burned out. Did a ton of artwork for guys, both design like concept drawings for builders and drawings of interiors, logo designs, t-shirt designs, everything.
Are you still working at Hughes?
No, not quite.
Okay.
But Wade still calls me to do flame work to this day. In fact, we'll be at Bobby's here in about a month.
No, when you were doing the work. No, back then.
Sorry.
Doing
Yeah, I did. So I worked there, let me think. Yeah, 2005. Those 5 years I was doing artwork at home, but working at Wade's. And I started doing my glove and fabricating and building. And then by like 0102, they were already famous for the Ohio Heat Flames. The Bobby Alloway's fraternal twins, the Roadster and the Coupe, had made the cover. Flames were back. Everyone was doing flames. And like I said, that was Bill Rell and Dog. They were the ones that laid it out and striped it, and Wade sprayed. Those 3 guys. I was working at Wade's. There were 5 cars and enclosed trailers, customer cars, sitting there, factory. And they had like Dauber and Jim weren't showing up. They like weren't coming, and Wade was freaking out. And to this day, I don't know why, what the holdup was, but like a week went by, 2 weeks went by, Wade's getting pissed. Wade had seen me draw flames. He'd seen me lay out flames on my own stuff. Finally, Wade said, "Can you flame those cars?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." So we unloaded one, rolled it in, I laid it out. And I laid it out like Rel and Dauber would. A little bit of my style, but mostly their style. And Wade sprayed it, and I striped it. And Rel and Wade, you guys never worked together again. It was always, from that point on, it was Wade and I. Which was awesome, but also kind of sad. Like, I didn't want to be part of that. I didn't want to be the guy that like broke them up.
Yeah.
And it did. I mean, it was, the people that know it was a bad breakup, but it's Wade. Yeah, Wade. Wade had these cars to do, and they had to get done. So I started doing those cars with Wade, and then wasn't long before I was going to Bobby's to do cars, which we're back to just holy shit. I'm at Bobby Alloway's getting ready to flame a car, and
Basically Johnny Cash of the air.
just blew me away, man. It was awesome. Yeah, going to those shops and doing some of those flame drops. Just it was because for I was still in my 20s. The wild part is that was right in my hell racing stage, and Bobby and them guys knew it. They knew I was a wild man.
That fit. That was the total package.
Yeah.
I could turn it on and off. When I showed up at Bobby's, I wasn't like stumbling in there or anything. I was on. Did it right.
You take for granted, like you're in these stories where we're taking you back. Take for granted some of we always talk about how cool the shit was, right? Take for granted some of the production level in mass, from Bobby and Rat's Glass, putting out speedsters to, Wade. I mean, they're running through those flame jobs because that was the thing. You had to have that.
We're doing 3 a week.
And Paul Atkins doing interiors. Like that was the trifecta.
Yeah.
Like it was
I mean,
boom, boom, boom. And
that was we're from California. That was the mecca of hot rodding. Right?
Yeah. And you just said it. Like at that time, I had been out to California at one time and seen enough.
Oh, they knew it.
And I was like,
they felt it.
Fuck California. We're doing this. And I loved it. Anything that would involve a badass color car build this side of the Mississippi, I was all for it.
That's cool.
And I mean, to me, it was a friendly competition. And it wasn't bad. It was awesome. Yeah, boys, let's get on.
Motivation. Show them who's boss.
Yeah, exactly. It was good motivation.
Go back to your magazine stuff earlier. I remember we dropped the first car off that we ever did at Paul Atkins' place, and kind of same thing. We were at awe. Me and Dan bring the car in, and he's got a wall of magazines up there, mostly speed stars, and a lot of your work as well, flame wise. And just look at it like, man, that's incredible. You were in all those magazines. He goes, no, those are just the ones I was on the cover of.
Yeah. That's so badass. That's so cool. Impulse, smoother delivery. That was in the era I did. I first met Jesse Greeny. We did Crumbzilla. Remember Crumbzilla?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve's car.
You flame that?
Yeah. That was one of the first ones. Yeah, I did a cool thing on that car. We were down there. We're back to like not afraid to try anything. We went down there. I met Jesse and his dad, and we went in there and it was like, lay out these flames. And I had always been a fan of green. Like I liked green cars. So we get down there and they want to flame this thing, and green flames on black. Yeah, it's easy, did you? So I lay out the flames, and once I lay them out, my job's done for like a day while it gets back masked, and then Wade sprays it, and it has to dry. And then I come in and strike. So I have downtime. So I'm standing around, nothing to do, and Steve Tracy's there. And we're doing an oil pan. They were chroming the oil pan, but it was in copper. And Steve walked in, and he had all kinds of stuff that was in copper, some was in nickel, some was bare metal, and he wanted to see what I could lay on there to put flames in the chrome. So we experimented and figured it out. And like, if you look at that car, the oil pan has chrome in the flames. What we did was I masked, they polished it. I masked off flames. They bead blasted the flames and then went straight to plate.
Huh.
So like the flames are a little duller than that area. And we did that like on the pan, valve covers, down, because I'm not sure.
That was just so second nacho bowl. What?
Yeah. Got a few of those.
Eric, you just. I heard that. I heard that when I was down there. Eric told me that. His dad was bragging about the rivers to you guys. So he jabs you guys a little bit.
It's friendly banter.
That's good. That's a good thing. I from day one, I've never been a show car builder guy. My hat's off to you guys because I've had to restore Indy cars that go get judged and certified, and they got to be perfect. And I can't stand that. So to go for something like an ANBR or a River, you guys keep that shit.
Where'd you judge it? Where are they
Don't you
judging?
let Jesse be fucking ring on your pot.
How are they judging an IndyCar restoration? Not historical significance? Was it
Correct.
over restored, under restored? Like
Always love. So it's pretty cool.
what's the quality threshold as far as paint or finish stuff?
You can err to the nice side.
Okay.
To a degree. But if you get it too perfect and doesn't even look real, then they don't like that. So with IndyCar, say you find a like the Curtis I did, we use that one. It's a 1949 Curtis IndyCar. It ran Indy 4 years. So the first thing you do is you pick the year that it finished the best. So 1 year it finished 7. So that's how I remember restore it, because that was its most successful finish. And it was the prettiest. You can pick any time to restore it, but you got to pick one. So you pick that one and you have a photo. We had a photo from Indianapolis Speedway with Paul Wyanday, a car sitting there. That's your master photo. It has to go back to that. So you restore the whole car to that era, and then you have a big binder of pictures showing the engine and showing the interior you can find. That's why like photos of cars in the garage are just priceless to us, is it shows what the body all is stuff. So you restore it back, and then you get into the hardware has to be correct for the era. Can't have like gold graded bolts from today. It has to be correct era hardware bolts from that era. If you can't find them, you have to make them. Hose clamps have to be right. Rubber, no rubber hoses, braided hoses. All that stuff has era correct. And you guys getting that with like, if you're building a traditional hot rod, you get that, you want it, but this is really specific. So you build it to that era, and then there's an organization called AACA, the Antique Auto Club of America. That's Hershey. The Hershey Swap Meet, that's AACA. You can take your car, you have to show ownership lineage from the picture you have all the way to you. Like uninterrupted ownership, which is a nightmare sometimes. It's you're calling.
What are they looking for there? What's the
just ownership, so that like there's no gap of like you can't say like I got Joe Johnson's car from 1948 and they're like, well, how'd you beat it? And like, don't worry about it.
So it couldn't be to make it couldn't be a fake.
A fake, yes. They want exactly. They
But
want to
how many
see.
times did in between that many years somebody maybe not want anybody knowing that they owned it or should have owned it or
didn't have
trailed it?
Hell on it. It's hard. You don't always get a complete ownership. It's just impossible. I mean, I've called nieces and granddaughters looking in family albums like, please try to find a picture of this car when your dad owned it or your granddad owned it.
That car broke up.
Oh, I've been there before. Yeah.
Hit that car.
Exactly.
That's this great.
That's actually not uncommon.
I can imagine.
Or you can get a family member. It's like, yeah, we don't talk about that car. Like, okay,
But did you?
did you own it? At least own it. So you have continual ownership of it, and then you take it to an AACA event like Hershey, and then the experts, which are the judges there. These are old racers that they themselves are restorers, but they're also historians, very, very smart historians. They judge the car, and they are judging how correct you got to that one photo. And they're looking at the decals and all that. One of the things I have learned over the years that I kind of like with the Curtis we did, that car later in life, it got different engines. So there was 2 different sets of engine mounts in that car. And I left the second ones because they were done really nicely, and I didn't want to cut them off. And they don't take off for that because that's part of the story of the car. And
Right.
So they're like, yeah, that's fine. That we know that's the later engine in it, but that's cool. Stuff like that. And then if it passes, you win a trophy, which is called like your first junior, which is a car show trophy. But then it gets certified, and then you get a tag that says like, this is the real car. 1949 Howell Cole car, and the reason for that is the value goes. you actually have the real photo.
Yes.
So that's the only judging I mess with. But the reason I like that judging, and this is later in my story of why I got out of hot rods and went to restoring Indy cars, it takes the customer out of it. So the customer's opinion no longer matters. If you got a customer that loves pink wheels, and you build him a hot rod, he's got enough money, you might put pink wheels on.
Yeah.
But this Indy car, I can show him the photo and say, these are the wheels it's getting because this is what I have. I know you like pink wheels, but
You can put them on something else.
so like it takes their taste out of it, and I kind of like that. Like it's nice as a builder, it's easier just to have this photo and be like, this is how it's gonna be. This my job is to make it look just like this, and that's most time that's what they want. But it's nice to not have the opinions of what color interior are we gonna do, what color steering are we gonna run, what engine, what stance, all that. No, that's all made up. That was done 50 years ago.
Well, you being such a history buff as well, it's that hunt and that chase of finding and learning. I can see that. I would
The
enjoy
research
that
is my favorite side.
what does a disagreement look like with a judge in that? Obviously, there's it's interesting because there's clear cut rules. Like you either did it to this picture, you didn't. That's not a historically accurate fault or a thing like that. It's right or wrong. But there's also going to be some judgment calls, I assume, on some things. What does that look like, and where does it?
It depends on. I've learned it depends on who you are. I've always been one of the younger guys in the field, so when it would come time for one of the old historians to tell me it's wrong, it was okay, sir. Sorry about that, because I know if I argue it, it's going to be listen here, sonny. Hey, I've been doing this for 8 years, and you're wrong. And it sucks, but it's part of it.
And that's never like again.
It doesn't.
It's not a quality thing. They wouldn't have done this, and you did this.
Correct. That's one case. Sometimes I'll have a customer, or not. Sometimes we'll make a car. We'll put a starter on a car and it never had a starter, and that's for usability. I don't want to push the start this thing every time. We don't put a starter on it, and that the 49, the Curtis I was talking about, that car had an Offenhauser clutch and 2-speed in it, and that was it. No starter or anything. I put a Winters Phoenix setup in it, which is kind of like a bird. It has a hand clutch, and you put it in gear, you push the clutch to go in low, and then you let it out for high. It was a modern transmission. They did not dock me for that because that was usability of the car to run it in vintage events. And I assured them that, like, this is so we can run it in vintage events. So they did. So it's a fuzzy area sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Aren't you kind of like the expert on that specific car? Like nobody would have researched as much as you and your quest.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And there are things on every car that I know is wrong with the judge. I've never knows them all because I'm just so much deeper into it. Yeah. There's stuff that slips by.
On the flip side, isn't it like, can't they come back and say, well, that wasn't done like that? Well, in my 2,000 hours of research on this specific car, I can tell you for a fact that it was. So.
Oh yeah, and when I take those cars to an NACA event, I've got a binder of photos of like every photo I have and reasons I did things, just in case that happens. Like, why does this have a brass radiator in it when it should have a cup aluminum? Like, no, here's a photo of it when it was built, and here's the brass radiator. So you can make an argument, you can make a claim, and you might win. We're back to who you are. I've seen, two old coggers argue. That's what it is. There was an old restorer named Bill Aiken, and a lot of people in the industry know Bill. He was my favorite grumpy old racer. This guy was the gruffest, grumpiest guy. And if he liked you, you were gold, and he was awesome. If he didn't like you, this guy could be rude. Very rude. And he liked me a ton, but Bill was one of them that nobody took. He won Pebble Beach 3 times. And he won Pebble Beach twice with the same car. Which, if you think about that, it's pretty hard to do. Take the same car back and win Pebble Beach again. But I think part of that was the judges were scared of it.
Stealing the trophy. It's not Bill's here.
Oh yeah, he was awesome. He was a good dude.
So we're hopping back, a little bit, and you go down to Bobby's, you do some plans, you met Jesse, you get Crumpzilla, right? So now, full blown, like the highest level of show car stuff.
Yeah. I was at doing work for all the big guys, and I was really excited and happy. doing work for Street Rider magazine, driving the hot rod all over, was building a couple other hot rods here and there, but by 05, 06 was getting pretty burnt out on the artwork side of it. I was wanting to do more building. I wanted to build hot rods. One of the things that was always really kind of cool about it was a compliment that I got from a lot of builders, was that my drawings that I would do of cars could actually be built in the real world. And you guys, we all know of like the Tom Taylor drawing that looks bitchin', but when you look at the front wheel, like there's no way that front wheel could ever do that.
When it's in front of the radiator and grill shell and it's an oval, you're like, oval wheels.
Exactly. And the problem is a customer that doesn't know that sees it, and he's like, why doesn't my car look cool like this drawing?
Yeah.
These wheels are oval.
Cool, it's unbricked to be all right.
Well, we've talked about a bunch with designers and artists. You know, there's concepts, there's renderings, and there's full blown blueprints. Graphic blueprint. Yeah. There's the place for all of them, because you got to have the Tom Taylor concept, wild, crazy stuff in the magazines to kind of get the juices flowing, the style, stuff like that. And then the customer be like, oh fuck yeah, that's bitching. And maybe the next stage is like, all right, well, it can't be fixed now. Yeah. Realistically, it's going to look like this. But I think they, like you said, they all hand in hand, and different artist styles, fit different parts of those genres, and I think it's
Stanford's drawings always came off to me as something you could build, Steve. And then today, anything like Raggle draws, if you build that, obviously, and then he can draw my flames pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done. There's two artists, Raggle and someone else that does artwork today. I can't give you his name, but whenever they draw them, if they know I'm going to flame the car, they'll put Shaw flames on it, and I don't change them much. Yeah. I look at them, I'm like, yeah, you got it. We're going to do that. That which I like. That's cool. But I was able to draw cars that could be built, but I got burnt out.
Did you flame the pink Roadster that Alan did?
Yeah.
All right, and Gary drew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was one. I didn't change much on that one.
Yeah.
That was fun to do. That was cool. And then, the Mackenzie, the girl that owns that car, her dad Eric was like a BSM buddy of mine from way back.
Okay.
He was one of the wild Hellraisers back in the day.
Okay. But he can still put you behind.
I'm sure he can.
Yeah, we've seen the lights come on in the parking lot a couple times.
Yep. He's a good dude. Yep. So yeah, that's it was fun doing the artwork, but I wanted to build hot rods. Got tired of dealing with the customers. I know it's terrible to say, but it's just part of it. I wanted to build hot rods. I enjoyed the welding and fabricating and building more than I was drawing.
So when people reach out, be like, hey, I want you to do this artwork. Hey, I want you to flame this. Hey, I want you to do that. You're just like too busy. No.
Yeah. I first started. I was doing a lot of custom paint work too. Tons of it. I mean, actual hands-on. That's why I asked you about, do you guys do your own painting here? I was doing a lot of graphics other than flames. I was doing tons of Harley paint jobs, helmets, planes, big cigarette boats. We were doing a lot of big stuff. And I was doing all that on my own. Some big, wild shit. And I remember the first thing that I stopped painting was motorcycles. And all my buddies know that because bike guys are the hardest to deal with.
Is it time frame with the cars? Like, just fucking want it?
It's time frame, and I'm going to do something to your bike that's actually going to make it stand out different than the other 50th bike night. Yep. What I'm doing is going to matter. And they don't want to pay shit for it, and they don't care about it. They give $300 for a set of billet mirrors, but if I tell them it's going to cost them $300 to stripe your bike, it's like, what? It's like,
it's funny because Steve Tracy always he doesn't do motorcycle chrome work, and he's a motorcycle guy. Yeah, he's a drag bike guy.
He's probably doing something.
And it was just like, don't want to deal with motorcycle stuff. Don't want to deal with
fire. We're starting with like a $15,000 like end product for the bike.
Yeah.
Versus a couple $100,000 car. So
yeah,
kind of get scale.
Helmets were the same way. Helmets were just a cost thing. Guys wanted the helmet painted for like $250, $300, and it got to the point where I can't buy the clear.
Yeah.
I can't, the clear of the material. I can't do any of that. So I stopped doing helmets and motorcycles. And then just got away from the painted graphics altogether. Not only because I was kind of burnt out on it, but also didn't have a facility. I didn't have like a big booth or anything. I wasn't set up for it all. So I would go to places and paint for them and do work. And then still to this day, I will do paint work, as you guys know. But what I've done today now, I've learned is I only do paint work and artwork for the actual builder of the car. The builder of the car, the builder of the bike. Because I've learned that that builder, you guys, Jesse, Bobby, he has a picture in his head. He knows exactly what he wants.
Yep.
He's had it from the beginning. I get there and he's like, okay, Josh, this is what I'm thinking. And he tells me, and it's cool.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, dude, that's good stuff. No, it's always bitching. It's a cool idea. They know what they want, and they turn me loose. And I've learned that, like, working for the actual builder is awesome. But working for the privateer that just has his, like, bike that he bought, that gets rough.
So what your input?
Yeah, it is. And I understand it sounds dickish,
No,
but I get, I mean, trust me, I've had a lot of people say, like, well, that's gonna prick of you. But I'm sorry, man.
I totally get it. We haven't done a lot of graphics over the years, but the few that we have done, I can think of two bangers, right? They were both customer driven. So the first, we had a guy, this back in our early years, he insisted on the louvered hood side for his 32, he wanted running stallions airbrush on it. But he also wanted true real fire, like the Mike Lavelle real fire coming off him. And like that was Phil used to be the guy that you would go to discourage a customer from doing something you didn't want to do, and he could not get him to.
That was more that layer of insulation. Hey, customer wants to do this. Fuck no, there's absolutely no fucking way we're doing it. Hey, buddy, I don't think we can do that. There's some issues here.
Well, he won. I think we sent them. I think they got sent to Mike Lavelle.
Yeah, he
didn't they?
did.
And it happened. It fucking happened. So there was that one, and then the second one we airbrushed was the 1940 Hollywood Grab. That was the customer bought it at like a Mecum auction or something. It was modified from like a sedan into like a two-door Roadster, and he's in the seafood business. So the car was red, and it reminded him of a lobster. So he wanted the whole fucking car airbrushed to look like a lobster.
Oh my!
And we did.
It's like balls.
We did it.
Oh,
we
nice.
did it, and it was something. So
Went to the grocery store, bought a couple of lobsters, brought them in, so you gotta have reference.
yeah.
Oh man!
But I mean, you're talking about these customers, even if they don't have the bad ideas up front, it's the mind's eye isn't trained the same way. So sometimes they have to see it, like, or go ahead and start doing that and let me look at it. And they're like, oh yeah, I don't like that. You're like, well, that's not how.
No, yeah. That's,
If you
that's
can't
the way to do it.
like verbally, like do it like this. We're talking about this color, and I'll fade into this, whatever, and we'll kind of make it sharp or make it soft, or we want to do this. A builder kind of understands those, like you said, and they kind of visualize what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you don't have to.
When I flame one of Bobby's cars, I'll walk in there and Bobby will say, I want the flames to start here. I want them to come off this edge, and I want them to end go right through here, and I want them to just be this high and this low, flame there. That's awesome. Which sounds simple, but a lot of guys can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Bobby can because he's done it so many times. And Jesse's the same way, with the Firebird on the hood.
Yeah.
He knew what he wanted there. I stepped it up from his idea, but he knew what he wanted.
I just can't believe Bobby still pay you to come down there and do the black on black flames. Even on his all black ones, he just wants to know there's flame black. He says,
Just anything.
that one's flame.
In the primer.
Yeah.
Black on black. That's I love Bobby. He's done a ton for me in my career, and advice,
well.
Mental advice, life advice.
I've said this so many times that, Bobby, I owe most everything from a very pivotal moment with Bobby at a Shades of the Past Lane. But I've said it so many times, and I've told him honestly in private, and I've said it on this podcast. Now he's starting to bring that shit up in public. Like, we're at Columbus, and it's throwing off. I gave this guy a start. I'm like, Bobby, like, it was fucking cool at the moment, and I said, but now you're rubbing it in my face and telling everybody around.
Senile old man doesn't know what he's talking
I know.
about. He's making us love.
Come
Last
on,
time-
let's get you to your chair, Bobby.
Last time I was down there, I saw Bobby. We went down to do a job, and we went to lunch. And actually, I had my wife Jennifer with me, and she'd never met Bobby. So we went to lunch, and Bobby was like, "What you been up to?" And I told him I'm restoring in cars and doing this. And I told him all I was doing, and he said to me, "What? Are you happy?" And it was such an odd question. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm real happy." And then it was one of those questions I thought about for days. I'm like, that was interesting. Like, yeah, he was right. Like, are you happy or not?
That's all he cares about.
Yeah, exactly. It was a cool question because I thought, that was a good. Yeah, I like what I'm doing now. If you'd asked me that 10 years ago, I might not have said anything.
Right.
So that's Bobby.
Yeah. Really good guy.
I started building hot rods in 06, and that's when my roommate in college, Scott Williams, he's a great designer. One of the guys that like everything he does has no look. Shit, that's a boy. Really good lettering, good signage. He got a job at Dynamat doing all their ad designs, like the Dynamat poster with the coupe and the Posey Super Slider logo with the pinstriping. That's all Scott Williams. Cool. He did all that stuff.
So you got a good way for hair design as well? Shotgun?
No way. Nope.
He said everything he did looked cool. And then look,
less noise. Come on now. Forgot about.
Less noise. Less noise was the Chris Gaines of the hot rod industry.
So Scott went to work for Scott, and Scott Williams went to work for Dynamat, and that's when the half car came about. The Dynamat half car, the third 3-1 coupe,
white and copper.
Yeah, exactly. And Scott, my roommate Scott, and I built that half car in 14 days, and just thrashed on it. And it was funny because I had built a couple hot rods of my own, but it wasn't like I had a shop or anything. And Scott Williams, my old roommate, called me and said, "Hey, we're going to build this half car." And Brookville gave us half of a coupe. We're going to build it. And I knew what the half cars were because they showcased the Dynamat inside of them. Yeah. It was funny. We went in there and Scott Whitaker that owned Dynamat, he had the parts for it from Brookville and it was unchopped. And he said, "I want to do a half of a 32 3-1 coupe and I want it just slightly chopped, like 1 inch. And I'm thinking blue." And that's what I got.
Well, it sounds good to see in 2 weeks.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, we're like, dude, we're chopping the shit out of this
Well,
thing.
you should have just come in. Like, that's the beauty. You talked about working for the builders and somebody that knows you. He should have just come in and be like, "You'd build me half 32.
Yeah. And let's go. Man. Let's go. Yeah. By the way, that grill shell I'm holding right there in that picture, Clay Coke built that.
Oh, shit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he built that because he knew Scott Whitaker from Dynamat pretty good, and Scott was like, "You build us a Miller style grill." So he built the grill. We built that half car, and then the interior of it was just bitch. It had a bomber seat in it and like a really cool cowl steering, and we made it look old. We did like the fake patina thing on it, which I had been into with my dad had built the 32 Ford, the Hillborn truck. And we'd done some patina but we did a tech article for Street Rider magazine on how to patina because so many people were doing it.
I remember that article.
Yeah, I did that article. It was on it was Poteet's truck, my dad's truck. Yeah, that's me in those pictures.
I remember that.
That was a how-to. And then we built the half car and then went to SEMA in 05, I think. And then I didn't go with it, the half car to SEMA that year. But Brookville was finishing up the complete coupes. And Scott Whitaker talked him into donating selling him one of the very first coupe bodies so that we could build the real car from the half car. And when we got it, it was not finished. They were unfinished. It was in the beginning of that right there. We got raw stampings from Brookville. Like they had finished the doors and the cowl and the roof, but like the rear window stamping was a raw first hit with all the flash around it. That's all they had. So I got a big pile of sheet metal and I had to build the body from scratch, which was awesome. Like it was the first kind of daunting, but luckily there was a guy in Cincinnati that had an unmolested 32 3-window coupe that get brought back from California that was a 10 and it was untouched, just the body. And I went to like 300 photos of it, measured the door openings, measured everything. And today we would have scanned it.
Yeah, so just thinking as you're saying it, I'm like, pre-scan it.
So I assembled that body and we built the full car. I never was a fan of flatheads. Still am not a fan of flatheads. Dennis Lewis built that flathead, and that is one flathead that did impress me, and it made a lot. That thing ripped
That
with a
car
Scott blower and everything. It's all
multiple street car covers.
Yeah.
I remember that whole era. It was kind of like, all right, we get it. Dynamat. Cool hot rods, right?
Dynamat was spending some money.
I said we get it.
Oh yeah, that was a fun car to build. I liked a lot of the stuff we did on that car, like pinching the rails, but they had a 37 tube axle, so it wasn't really low. Those wheels, no one was building big wheels at the time. The rear wheels on that, we wanted 20-inch narrow wheels. No one was making a 20-inch steely, so those are Dodge truck spares, like old mini truckers use.
Yeah.
We cut them down right there in the shop with like a plasma cutter, but no lathe, nothing. I just bolted a hub to a vise and just spun it. It took a grinder and trued it
Yeah,
up.
it worked.
Yeah, it worked, and then we welded old Ford centers into the center, and in the fronts we went to tractor store and got 9-in tractor fronts because we knew they were 19 by 3, and we're like, oh, that's gonna be thick shit. The problem was tractor wheels are designed to go like 10 mile an hour. They were so out of whack we couldn't use them. So Scott found a place that would make 19 by 3 hoops if you ordered like 500 of them, and it did. So just to get those two.
A lot of people started landing cars in that.
Oh yeah, well hey, so we built those wheels. I still got some of those hoops. They're like 19-inch by 3
They're
hoops.
talking about 450, 60, 70 cents.
So there was a bunch. And I see them pop up at swap meets all the time. I'm like, hey, I know who this is. It was a cool car. We chopped it probably more than a lot of people would chop one, but that's why I did it. The patina on that car was the talk of the car. We made it look old, and unless you've seen that car in person, you really don't appreciate how real that the patina on that car looks. We had people, it went to SEMA in 06, and there were several people telling us they remember that hot rod. They saw that hot rod run at Bonneville.
Tell me about it.
Oh, yeah. I remember this car. This was a famous car. I'm like, oh, yeah. Sure, buddy.
53.
Yeah.
Old Fireball Jones.
Yeah.
Driving us back in the day.
I built that. It was me, Scott Williams, my roommate, James Reedy. He did all the body work and then sprayed it. It was, group effort like everyone. But by the time I built that car, Scott, that owned the Dynamat, had hired me to build hot rods for him in that shop, in that picture. And that was a building a mile down the street from Dynamat headquarters, and that was Speed King's hot rod shop. So within a short amount of time, I was the head guy at Speed King's hot rod shop, and we were building hot rods.
All stuff for him.
Oh yeah, all stuff for him. I built the car. I finished it on like a Thursday, and we were leaving for SEMA on Monday, and we were about to drive it. And I told Scott, I said, Scott, drive this car all weekend. Put like 200 or 300 miles on this thing, please. And call me when it breaks down so I can like dial it in before we go. Monday came, he had put 23 miles on it. And we left for SEMA. Gone. We drove it to SEMA. Scott drove it. You see the duct tape on the deck lid there to keep his stuff dry.
Yeah.
We went with 5 other hot rods, and I went along as like the ride-on mechanic. Scott drove that. I actually rode in a truck with Posey the whole way
I
there.
was going to say, Posey,
Posey
that was the maroon 5-window truck, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, but the first year Posey didn't get his truck done, so we hauled it out in his like big Ford, 250, and I rode with Posey all the way out. 5 other hot rods went. I ended up working on all other 5 hot rods except that coupe. That damn coupe did not miss a lick the whole way there, and I'm proud of that. I know it's a lot, but damn, I'm proud of that. And there's a blown flathead with 23 miles.
So that feels good after it's happened now, and you can say it, and you're not jinxing yourself.
It was awesome.
We're talking about it the whole way.
Oh yeah, I did.
Don't even think about it. Don't talk about it. But after it's done, like, yep.
Oh yeah, made it.
Nothing.
I guess you're throwing a no-hitter. Like,
It's definitely you don't save it until that last throw. Exactly.
There's always that guy you do if we go on a road tour or whatever, and you're 3 days into a 5-day trip, and that next morning you're out at the hotel and everybody's like, yeah, I can't believe we haven't seen a lick of issues. And everyone's like, dude,
That was the
shut the fuck up.
next thing they know, somebody's towed her home at the trans getting yard.
yeah, like
Everybody's thinking it, just nobody
come out.
send it.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good trip. That car kind of put me on the map as far as building cars. Building whole cars. We took that car. That's my sedan. that was my first time to Bonneville there. And that's when I went drag racing with the sedan. Those are just other hot rods. So that car there, that's the next Dynamat
I
car.
remember that car well.
There's a neat story with that car that most people don't know. We went to SEMA. The only time I've ever been to SEMA is in 06. I went one time with the coupe, the time we drove it up. And when we were there, we were in the hot rod building. You could hear the drift cars out there. And this is 06, so drifting's kind of still fresh. And you could hear them ripping. And I'm like, that's badass. So, I'm 6 years out of dirt racing. And I'm like, twitching.
I get that.
Like, dude, we got to do this. So Scott Whitaker's, I'm telling Scott, like, this is the drift cars and everything. And Scott Whitaker's like, what if we build a hot rod? We'll come back next year with a hot rod and go drift it. Well, for Dynamat. And I'm like, yes, that'd be a great idea. But don't build some high-tech thing. Let's build a traditional hot rod that I can drift. Because I can drift it. I can drift the track. I don't care. So Scott Whitaker being awesome, he was an awesome salesman and businessman. Within like 2 days of walking around SEMA, he had us a Brookville Roadster body, a 680 horse Roush Yates engine, a Tremec 6B complete Moser rear end with like 3 different gear sets, Dayton wire wheels.
Wasn't this the first set of Excelsiors? Or one of the first?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they were. I talked to them and they were saying they had like a race compound, and I knew they were going to be good for that.
Yeah.
So I did concept drawings of that Roadster, and that car was supposed to be a drift car. It's a dry sump car. I put the dry sump tank up underneath the dash. I put KSE sprint car steering in it. It's got a KSE power box. And one of the things you can still see to this day in the design of that car, people think I did it for looks, but the wishbones on that car curve, that was for a wheel triangle.
Turn it out.
But it looked.
It looks bitchin'.
I remember that. Remember the top-down view. It was sweet. This car was. I didn't even had no idea you had anything to do with it until this Instagram post just there. And then I got even more excited about the bike. This is one that doesn't get brought up enough. It was super instrumental in me and styling on a bunch of hot rods and stuff. I remember those street riders, and then I remember the top-down view to show the split wishbone. Like, there was so much cool shit on this car.
We were halfway. We were 85, 90% way through the build. It was in bare metal. The grill shell was mocked up. The grill shell was not done yet. The hood hadn't been done, but the front suspension on that car, I did a Miller trick where I put 4 quarter liptics.
Okay.
So like two and two on top bottom of the axle, like a Miller. There again, real narrow to keep everything narrow for turning radius. And I was ready to go. I was going to drift this thing. I was all excited. And then friction started between Scott and I because I think Scott realized that I was going to drift this car and it was going to be Josh Shaw's drift car and Josh Shaw drifting this car. And Scott wasn't going for that, which I kind of get it. He's the money guy. Yep. He's his name's on the car. So
did you also have a lot?
Nope. No,
you should have
shaved that
into it before.
Yeah, then I could have froze. Yeah. So he started changing things on the car. He said, I want to go more of like a European's touring car look. And I was like, man, you're gonna screw it up. The first time I drew it, it had just a laid back curved windshield.
Yeah.
And he showed up with those Brooklyn's English windshields. And I was like, you are not putting those on this car. He's like, oh yeah.
I put the steering wheel on the right hand side, and I also got this scarf for you to wear.
That's the direction it was going. And then we had a problem with the head scoop. So in the drawing, that thing's only like 3 inches tall. It's sleek like it should be. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that's not as high as your head. And I said, yeah, I know it don't. They never are. I said, it's got to look good. Screw how high your head is. So Scott. He's like, no, it has to be as high as my head. It has to be as high as my head. So he came over to the shop one day, and I remember I said, well, come over and sit in the car, and I'll put in. So he comes there, and he sits in the car way high, and he does this. And I'm like, sit like you're going to drive the car. This is how I drive.
That's how I try and close that my wife gives me that I drive
like that.
Yeah, so I don't like this. I'm like,
why are you standing like that?
Exactly.
Like what?
So
I'm even moving the shirt.
Yeah. So we butted heads on it, and it did not get worse. It did not get better. And when the friction grew, and by the time the car was like 90% built, I was let go. So didn't work out. And then Scott finished the car. He built I'm not sure. I think Clay probably built that head pod. I don't know if Clay built that grill shell too, but they finished the car and got it out. And the problem is they never didn't go with it. Like you said, it just was there. It's a cool car. I love it. And it never got used.
I never saw it I never saw that car move it.
I didn't either. I never saw it run. I never heard it run. I never saw it drive.
Who has it now?
I think Scott probably still has it.
Does
Yeah, I think he still has all his cars. It sucks just because of what that car should have been. When it was originally,
would have been so much cooler.
just
The sands, the slug.
and it would have been sweet. And I wasn't going to run headlights. I was going to make removable headlights that you put on when you beat them.
Yeah.
And then can you imagine that car drifting at SEMA? How would you rest up?
I've never drifted a 32. I've never seen one drifted. Especially how little tires like.
Oh yeah,
It's just
yeah.
see.
Air them up.
Yeah.
Air them up.
Oh, I don't doubt that you can get it.
Yeah. I mean, I had done it.
We are rolling.
I had done it in my sedan so many times. I knew I'm like, yeah, we can rip this thing. The big holes in the chassis were cool.
Sweet.
It was
Just so much cool shit.
yeah, it was a lot of cool shit.
It's funny when you look at stuff like that, though, and hearing like the story, because at the end with pull the headlights off it, lean the windshield back, and lower that pod, that car's a lot better. You know, that car's a lot better. But it's cool.
Did you and Scott mend things?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't really hold a grudge.
Maybe that car could be bought and then like returned to where it was going to be.
It's got the horsepower. It has the equipment. Whoever gets that car, it's built. It is bulletproof. It's built to race. It's every component on that car is full on. Like even if you just bought it and road rallied it at the Good Guys event, you have fun. It's an absolute race car, whether it looks like it or not.
What's
It's
the
a
rear
race car.
suspension?
Triangulated floor link with coilovers, I think. Wasn't anything like crazy because I wanted it to be
But it's not works out buggy free.
I wanted it to work on it, dial it in. Pretty sure it's got a sway bar in the back, like we talked about, because at that time I was wanting sway bar in the back, everything. The front end, the front suspension wasn't. The parallel lease is okay, but you're not worried about the front suspension when you're drifting. You just need turning radius, so it could have been a cool car.
Roush. We're talking about like staples of the industry back in the day. Remember Roush, 402 IR.
Yeah.
That was.
You got that motor, and you got Clay Cook's medallion.
Yeah.
That went on there. You had some.
That beer born juice.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just funny how for
big money.
Yeah.
Yes, TKO.
Yep.
500 neighbor Roush.
That was in 07, 08, right in there, and I went on my own, started up my own outright shop, and about that same time, my dad had restored an old sprint car. Oh, damn, that's bitchin'. That's cool. We got an old sprint car, and I had I wanted to restore sprint cars, and a guy came in my shop named Ken Kyles, and I've referred to him as Machine Gun Ken. This guy develops and designs machine guns and is a prolific collector, historian, unbelievable historian. He came in the shop and he loved sprint cars, all sprint cars. And he said, can you find me a 1964 Watson sprint car? Real specific. And I'm like, yeah, probably, maybe. So he said, yeah, go find it. Well, I researched and ended up finding two, and I bought those two cars for him. Go to that first City Yellow race car.
Yes.
So click there and scroll through. See on the side of that car, it says Machine Gun Ken. He was my sponsor there. Keep going. These are all Ken's cars, by the way. Yeah, Ken's a dude. Ken's a badass dude. Yeah. If people want to see a sprint car, that's the 49 Curtis. That was the 49 Curtis we talked about.
Right.
And then if you keep going, you see two sprint cars sliding on dirt right there. Those are the two cars that I did for Ken. They were 1964, 65 Watson sprint cars. Restored them for him. And he said he was from day one. He's like, I want you to restore cars from me, vintage race cars, but I want you to run them hard. And he's like, can you do that? I'm like, oh yeah. And at the time, a lot of the damage stuff was the vintage open wheel sprint car scene. There's a big scene that's been going on for years. In the 80s and 90s, it's pretty bought. Like the old timers had raced in the 60s, and they were in their like older years, and they would get in those cars and rip apart. A couple of guys got hurt, and a couple of guys got killed doing it. So they really tamed it down. Like, this needs to be parade laps. So it was parade laps until we came out with those cars. And I restored that car, and that's me in the white 49 up top. The blue 23 on the bottom, that's my buddy Joey Kerr, who I raced karts with since we were 10. I got all my old racing buddies that I raced with, and they said, come on. Wow. So we all got in these cars. We all trusted each other. We knew how to drive, and boy, we ripped them. And it was a phenomenon. Like, immediately people just couldn't get enough of it. Seeing those cars really ripped hard.
Video footage of that, so
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I don't. There you go. Dude, that's
pan over hand.
Oh, yeah.
Turn.
The full lock.
Yeah.
I'll be running about 90 there, maybe 100. Just getting it on the gas, going hard.
What kind of power does this car have?
It's got a Hillborn injected 327 on methanol. Horsepower wise, they're 450 right in there. And they're actually
2,000 or less?
no less. They're probably 1,600 pounds. Yeah. And it's pretty. And a direct drive. That's me when I was 20.
Is the big hump back here? I know a little bit it's for aerodynamic, but you also put your few falls back there. They like tuck around.
Because you can't have them over the transmissions.
Right. That's right. So we ran those, but those cars really, I owe a ton to Ken because he started having me restore vintage cars. That's a car I restored for Ken. That's a 1963 Watson Roadster. A lot of people think that's brilliant.
Okay, so yes, I'm I don't know these cars and the terminology, right? I look at this stuff for looks. There is this car in a mintish blue with the gold scallops on it. Because right, delivery was something with the S's.
Yep.
Yep. What is that car?
That is a Indy Roadster, and it's Watson Roadster, and that's the Rathman car.
Okay. I think that's the
Ken
most
Paul,
beautiful car
What is that?
ever.
Ken Paul on the hood. That's a badass car. I've had guys bring me pictures of that car, want their motorcycle painted like that.
I love
'Cause it's so
that car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Go to and you could Google Jim Rathman Watson Roadster, and it'll probably come up. Or actually, type a Ken Paul, Ken Paul, Indy Roadster. But I'm thinking some good Red Scouts, but let's check. That's the number 4.
Yeah,
But that's a difference.
that's a different.
Yeah. See, there's the gold one down there. That's the gold scouts are throwing me off a little bit.
It's a lighter blue than that, and it's got the gold calibrate, but it's a side profile.
If you type in just Watson
yeah,
Roadster, just Watson.
I'm sure you've been to the end of Google and back.
Yeah.
This shit.
You have
Do research and
So, AJ Watson was a very famous builder, and these are all his cars. His Aero Roadster, the Watson Roadster, a lot of people consider like the prettiest Indy cars ever built. Roadsters in general were built for many years. Watson, I drove that car. That's a badass car. Watson, for all the Roadsters that are out there in history and that we know of, Watson only built 26 cars. There was only ever 26 Watson Roadsters. Now since then, they're like 32 Fords. Yeah, tons of recreations, but original ones there's only 26. The way Roadsters came about, you guys will dig this with your chassis. So in the early years of Indy, from day one up to like the 1940s, you guys are familiar with a sprint car where you sit straight up, and they're called the upright cars because you sit straight up like a sprint car, like we are in these chairs. The drive shaft goes right between your legs and underneath your butt. And the steering wheel's right here. Everything is centered. Center steer, center drive. And your feet are straight down. That's an upright Indy car. Those cars were all the way up until World War II. And right after World War II, 49, 50, they were upright Indy cars. The chassis builders knew if we could get that driver down out of the wind, it'd be faster. So how can we get the driver low? Well, we can't lay him down because there's an engine there, and we can't get his ass down because there's a drive shaft. What if we move the engine? What if we build the chassis wider and put the engine over here and have the drive shaft next to the driver? We could set his ass on the floor and he would get lowered. That's the invention of the Indy Roadster. So they did that. The very first guy that did that in like 51, 52. And they got Bill Vukovich was one of the first ones to show up with one of those cars, and he won like 3 years straight. And you know how racing's monkey seem like these.
Yeah.
So as you
Changed it all.
So everyone starts building these offset Indy cars, and the Roadster is born. Everyone loves the Roadsters. Well, then builders decided everyone's running an Offie. Well, an Offenhauser is like 24 inches tall, but it's only about that wide. So builders started laying that Offie over. They laid it at 45, and then some laid it all the way over sideways. So now you got the engine laying sideways, the drive shaft coming down this side, the driver here, and then you get an Epperly Roadster. And the Epperly Roadsters were the lowest of the low roasters. So all the way up until 1964, that's the Roadster era. I agree. It's most people like that's the prettiest era ever. I like the upright cars just because I'm such a traditionalist.
Right.
But yeah, the Roadsters are beautiful.
So that's the one I was talking. It's not
There it is. Oh, sweet. It's a Lebowski. Yeah.
Lebowski.
Yeah. That engine's probably straight up. That engine's still straight up and down in that car. That's that sharp notes like that is.
I just think that's perfect.
And that's the oil sump tank on the side.
Everything
Really
about that
well
is just. I just want to build a hot rod
Like that.
like that.
That era was so good. Like the wheels, the tires, like the size, just the Firestone lettering, a little white line around.
I'd be fine at my age being a complete poser and just building a street version of that. I'm gonna be like that old guy that's in front of a fake race car.
I'm with you. And obviously, we all know they're like the quintessential hot rod wheel the last 5 years.
Yeah.
The 16 and 18 inch Indy wheels. That's where it came from.
You seen that car they're doing up in Wisconsin? They call it the Troy Roadster. I think something. I think just looked in my eyes. I was just up at Road. Were you at Road America?
Yeah.
So those guys are always cruising around there, and it's a take on a vintage Indy car, but all modernized. It's a two. They made them as like 2 seaters.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Dude, it is cool.
Yeah, the front end kind of like is a little bit wider in the front end.
Yeah. I forget the move cover.
And that's a color car too. Yeah, that is. Who's the driver on that one?
Stokes. It's 715 Motorworks. The number 715 Motorworks.
But at least you're clean.
Yeah.
These might be the cars that John Lawson was involved in a while back.
They're really well built. And I mean, aluminum bodies, hand-shaped bodies, and they just look like a hell of a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah, they used to there, Jay. Yeah. Yes. So these guys, they basically are building things what you're talking about. They made a Roadster a little wider,
Yeah.
made them drivable. Those things are bitch.
They're cool.
Yeah, when we drove the race cars into town, I saw that they had one of those sitting, like a sideways.
Every year they're there. Every year I see them, and I always like,
hey, yes.
Let's get one, but you gotta send a picture of that black flight blue it through the high exhaust and you go in that liquor.
like that.
Yeah.
A lot of guys
Wait, I'm in for like hundreds.
Well, I think they're about 250. So
But didn't I say I'm in for 100 though?
okay.
what I said, take the customer out of it. Yeah, those are fiction. And then, as the historians know, and so that car, that's a Watson Roadster. That's a 1963 Watson Eddie Sachs drove. That was one of the last Roadsters. In fact, of the 26, that's 26. That's the last one. There was a 27th, but it didn't make the race. That's the year that the rear engine cars came in and took over. And the end of the front engine era was over. It was by 64 is the last year that a front engine car ever won.
Who was the innovator in that? How did that make the change? Who was like, hey, let's put the motor.
And Clark, Jim Clark was the driver, but Colin Chapman and guys from over in Europe, they had been doing the rear engine thing and the Grand Prix circuit for years. They had figured it out. They had built these rear engine cars that were super little, light, tiny little cars.
Yeah.
And when they came over, all the Indy purists were like, those little light cars are going to break up and won't last 500 miles.
Yeah.
And they were wrong.
What did Journey fit me?
68, 6, 7, 8, right after. Right after. He was there at the. And Gurney drove some front end car, so he was there.
He was in the their plate AAR and stuff.
Nah, not yet. They had all the cars there at Road America.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
That was I was lost to that. Like me and my son went up there together, and I must have spent 2 hours in that. The 2 tents of just all the Gurney cars and all that era of Well, I mean, I think that it probably spanned. There were some Roadsters in there, and then they spanned all the way up to like the mid '80s or something. Fuck.
Yeah, and then he got a motorcycle in there. Did you see that bike? There was a really bitchy motorcycle in there. I didn't read why it was there, but it was like a capture.
Justin Gurney is going to be coming on Zidane side, even
Good.
the podcast.
Good.
We've done the tour of their facility, where they're doing some crazy modern shit now. But same exact place. Even some of the old guys' workbenches, they've left. Those guys passed on, but the workbench is still there.
What history?
We were like fucking pinching ourselves when we logging through.
Winning history.
Private tour. It's from Justin Gurney walking through this.
You would,
Unreal.
we'll set it up because I'm telling you, the type of guy you are, and
Dude, they had
your mind will
his
go on.
dad's office is like a shrine, and it's untouched. I mean, down to like the papers still sitting on his desk, and all his everything in there.
Everything. The amount of stuff. I mean, this we're gonna say since that fourth the podcast, right? But when he's walking you through, you're like, oh wait, so he was the first to do that? Oh, he was the first to do that.
I love that. That's the kind of show I really dig. With like even with the Harry Miller stuff, it's the same thing. I love that.
Very first champagne pop
Yes.
spray.
Yeah. Yep.
In Brute, like with the champagne executives, right? And this is the American that's already beat the European. Then he decides to take their, most coveted prized possession and spray them down with it.
That's so good. That's so American.
Think about how many champagne pops have been in history since then, and nobody had done it before that.
There's songs about popping champagne. That's it. That's it.
But we're walking through. So this facility has now been converted. They're doing some super modern, like crazy stuff, like things you would.
Stuff we'll tell you off there.
Good.
Okay,
Things that are like things that are up in space and like what. So you're walking through this whole facility, and then he's like, "Oh, come on back here and check this out." You like walk down this little hallway, and then there it's like this little tool room, and tiny little. It's probably like no bigger than the size of this office. And sitting right there on like a little cart is a fucking Gurney Eagle.
The last one
that was never completed.
Oh.
It was like sitting up in the rafters, and they brought it down, and they're just finishing it. You're looking at this, and to him, he's, oh yeah, we're like, we're wrapping this thing up. My dad never finished it.
Some of the bodywork like finished. All that bodywork to magnesium, so we had to find the guy. I didn't even know some of that.
And hammered magnesium.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And they had all like little scale models that they would run on a little tiny wind tunnel for. And it's
really?
Mini treadmill. Yeah.
That just yarn taped to it, like.
So like that.
It's everything.
That's why they dominated.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why they were so good.
No schooling. No.
Yeah.
The craziest part, again, well, we got to set it up. Literally, you're gonna have to go. You're in the shop. You've got the most cutting edge modern, like, holy shit, you guys are doing this. You got pictures of stuff they've done, in composite stuff with Nissan in the 80s and 90s that was, space age cutting edge stuff. You got Gurney Eagle stuff. You got, all of this in this one wall in the old shop. It's 20 foot tall by 40 foot wide.
It's like the size of this picture right behind you.
Yeah. Big wrap. And it's a black and white photo, and it's of Dan Gurney and two of his buddies. I think Dan was like 14 or 15, and they've got like Roadster on the trailer and pulled behind a
39 Ford.
Yeah, something like that. And one's carrying like a 3-deuce intake, one's carrying two like flatheads. They all went together to buy this car and the piece of the parts, and it's the night before they leave to go to Bonneville.
Oh wow.
And this photo's there.
Man.
And you're looking, you're like,
that's the beginning.
Chill.
That's the beginning.
It gives me chills even saying it. And Justin's telling us this story, and you're looking at this, and you're looking at around all the things that have happened in this exact facility, the same exact concrete and the same thing. And then you're also seeing what's being done just to the right, and you're like, you don't have enough paper to draw a timeline.
Yeah.
But of the differences of, and that was the thing, like he'll tell the story way better, but a couple $100, this guy bought a motor, then they borrowed the trailer, and then they rented the motor, and another guy bought heads.
They took a rear end out of something else, one of their cars.
And it was just to cobble this thing together as young teenagers, not even driving age.
It's like a bunch of kids going to go-kart when you're...
And they're going to Bonneville.
And how rare is it that someone captured that? Yeah. We hear stories like that, but to see a photo captured.
Dude, it's like barn, like old distressed barn in the back. You couldn't fake this picture.
I gotta say that.
It looks like a still out of a Hollywood movie where they're recreating it. You're like, oh, that shit's real.
I gotta see that. Very cool.
So cool.
That's excellent.
Hey, we've gone.
That's
Going
cool.
all. So,
So, anyways, started building. I was building a hot rods. Got into restoring race cars. Kyle came along, supported. He was the money guy and a fan. And I restored a lot of cars for him. Once I started restoring sprint cars for him, I got into other customers came. And then I was in Southern Ohio, Cincinnati area, and there was a big restoration shop there in Cincinnati called Zakiras, Zakiras. And they were, like you guys, like a massive restoration shop and maintained vintage cars, vintage sports cars, Land Cruisers, everything. But they were also ground zero for Harry Miller cars.
Mm.
They had all the Miller patterns with Miller drawings. They were Miller guys. And they were right there in Cincinnati. And I got to know them. It was kind of back again, like where I'm walking in all, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are your old Miller Indy cars. And my dad had done lettering on a couple of them. And every time I would finish a restoration, I would take it down there and show those guys, like, hey, can I check this out? Kind of ask them, like, is this okay? Does this look good? And around 2011, I got a call from them saying, scroll through there and see the little white Indy car, and right there, that white car. They called me and they said, that car is the 1923 Indy 500 winning car. That car won the race in 23.
wow.
It's the first all Miller to win the car. Miller engine, Miller chassis, Miller body. They were doing the restoration on that car. They had the engine was done, the chassis was final assembly time, and the main guy who was working on it had hurt his back and was out, like of commission. And they called me, Jim Himmelsbach, the shop foreman, called me and said, hey, this was February, and they said this car is supposed to go to Indy in like 2 months. If you come in and work on this car with me, I'll stay as late as you want, and we'll thrash and we'll get this car in Indy if you're interested. And of course, I'm hell yes. Yeah. So I went in there, worked there for them. We thrashed for 2 months, got the car done. That's me in the car, first time back on the track. We ran the car, and Monday morning, went back to Cincinnati. I'm all happy, and I got a call from them saying, you're not coming to work. You're coming to work for us. So I went to work for them guys full time. And that's when the Miller thing started. I was still had my home shop, and I would do Ken Kaiholtz's cars at my home shop, but only Ken. And I'll still vintage racing for Ken, like all his vintage cars. But my full-time job was the Millers at Sakura's, and that's when I walked away from hot rodding altogether. Just focused on vintage Indy cars. And had pretty much been that way ever since. I still play with hot rods, but the vintage Miller stuff is just such a deep rabbit hole.
I can't hear. I would always go building old school hot rod. You go back to Miller stuff, and take over in places. About probably 12 more years ago, I was at the vintage Indy weekend, right? And it was an overlap with like last year's a Good Guys Indy or something like that. It was like same weekend or something. It was able to pull away and go over for a Sunday. However reason, I was there. First time I'd ever been. Only time I'd ever been. Haven't gone since. Out in the parking paddock middle thing, past all the big stuff in the parking garages, wherever, just like, hey, run what you brought, parking. I'm walking by myself, nobody with me, just walking, looking at different stuff. Out in the middle, this grass parking lot, nobody else around. There's like 2 rigs way over this way with some vintage Ferrari stuff. There's a guy with like a Ford pickup truck and an open trailer and a Miller race car sitting on the back front of, in a folding chair in all white overalls. And I walk over there, right? And he had to have been, he was 90 years old at the end of the day. And walk up, super nice, gets up, and, he had just loaded it back up from bacon flaps. Start talking to me, brings out like photo albums and newspapers, and like that. And I don't remember the exact story of either he was young and saw it race, anyway, but that car raced, in the Indy 500 in whatever year. And he's been either the only owner or the second owner since, and he's been racing. He's like, every year, vintage weekend, this is the time to get it out. So he's like the OG
Those guys.
white overalls, and he's just, flat top cut haircut, as excited as can be that somebody's there and looking at this thing. And it's like, it hasn't been restored. It's been maintained. It's just been kept up for that. And it like, holy shit. And literally, like, he doesn't have anybody helping it. He's by himself. He's got the little ramps and stuff like that. And he came out there for this weekend, has been racing. He's got one little folding chair and the little, OG cooler that flips over, and he's got his sandwich, and it's like,
There was a lot of those.
that's
guys.
a badass. That's a badass.
There was unfortunately that a lot of those guys were, they disappear every day,
Yeah.
which sucks. But that's when I first got into the Millers. That there was a lot of the dual timers that they had been there from the beginning of when the Millers started getting collected. Guys started collecting and restoring Millers in the 50s.
Really?
They knew then they were something special, and some of them old timers are just they were gold to talk to because they had such cool stories.
Yeah.
And you could tell they did not take a shit. They lied. If you were a young guy and you showed interest, they would talk to you for hours.
Right.
Because they loved that someone young showed interest.
Right.
But man, they had good stories. Good stories.
It's so cool.
Yep. And then
it's just nuts.
the whole Miller rabbit hole is just
Do you think that
and what's
60 years from now, there's going to be some vintage race, and there's going to be a dude out there in the Miata, right? And some kids are going,
Oh, he's still there. He's gonna go, I bought this sucker new.
we burn a thing called gas oil too. We actually put a liquid in this to make it go, and it was flammable. There was fire inside this engine.
Fire in the
It
engine.
was controlled fire, and we squeezed it.
No bass or bones.
Yeah. That's part of what I do. What I wonder is, 50, 60, 70 years from now, what a guy is going to be into. Because when I first started, even in 2010, 11, when I first started restoring sprint cars and Indy cars, the 80s and 90s era sprint cars were not really a thing yet. And now I'm restoring them. Now here we are, 15, 20 years later, I'm restoring 80s ever cars, 90s ever cars. No, there's customers, but it's the wave of interest you and I were talking about with the Camaros.
age demographic change.
The age demographic, that wave goes through the hobby. It's, we saw it with, remember like the brass, when we were young, those old rich old men had brass era cars with the big tall wheels. Now you can't do some of them way.
Yeah.
And then our dads got to be where they were in their 60s and 70s and had real money. And that's when muscle cars went to $1 million. Because those, my dad, he wanted the 69, 60 era muscle cars. That's what he had in high school. So that when those guys get old enough to pay up for one,
Everybody wants the same.
That's how our entire
And then-
business operates.
That's exactly
That's why you see just a Fox body Mustang out there. And
Yeah, those guys.
Camaros just, we've now.
That's why S10 are getting expensive.
That's what I was going to ask. In like 15 years, you always say, well, son, I body dropped that S10, and that's a real tweed interior right there.
Oh yeah, that Survivor mini truck.
You're at the street.
Dude, they're coming around. Huh?
They're
They're coming around. Mr. Lee's got a Firehawk, like a 90, what was that, 92,
yeah.
93. We've been reminiscing about the,
Firehawks where
what is it, the WS6?
Yeah, I don't
the Trans Am?
I don't think he knows what he's got. Firehawk is more special than anybody could.
Is it really?
It's
But those are cars, 10 years ago, we kind of laughed at all those cars.
Yeah.
And now you're like, hey, remember those? I mean, people really like them when they were new.
Right.
But
My buddy
you remember,
Buddy Gray had a 96 red Ram Air Firebird. I don't know. It was fast.
a WS6 now.
Speed, it was a
It was a WS6 there. It's just short of top fuel. Just short of top fuel car.
I wouldn't,
Total.
those might even did an engine. I don't know. They were like supercars.
Yeah, that was a Lamborghini collab. You're talking about the old race and stuff, though. I was going to bring up what I think is cool is some of the age demographic and the interest, right? That Vintage Week, I remember, and I'm sure they had some of this last weekend, that was the vintage NASCARs, right? In 90s and even early 2000s, there are NASCAR liveries. Their liveries are awesome, but it's really cool to see. I've seen videos and stuff. Heatwave's doing a really good job. Heatwave, their marketing's good, but he's got a couple of those. Now he's putting together clacks. So they're putting together these weekends of everybody that has these vintage NASCARs to go out and race and do some. What's fun about some of these videos, and I remember happening at Indy, they do that time, okay, the next 45 minutes, it's, this era NASCAR. A lot of those collectors, at that era, guys that have some money, they're like, man, that'd be cool to have the Mountain Dew car. It'd be cool to have this. Well, it sits there in their garage as a part of the collection all year long, right? And then they get the time to go out there and crank it and drive it. They're also, for the most part, not racers or have the experience. and they're all kind of the similar level of, hey, we got some money, we have these cars, this is our time to be kids again. And the beating and banging that they do out there, and they're not skilled. It's literally like all of us that the last time we went go-kart racing in Louisville, which was the last time that we could go racing in Louisville.
Did you guys learn it from?
We learned it for ourselves. That was. Did you know they could do a lifetime ban?
Nice.
They can.
And they will make you walk. Like, we had to walk like a half mile. They just let me drive that fucking.
They made an
fast.
example.
Yeah, like, no,
They made an example.
you're walking out.
Joke's on you, because you guys got to walk that way to get the car.
Yes. I mean, they're like, well, good luck with it. Deal with it, dude. Nothing fine. I'm out of
It's south of Louisville. It's like that 1.5 mile road course that you go down there. They're pretty fast carts, right? But there's no guardrail, so you can go off road.
You can Dale Earnhardt.
So
pass.
but you're also a long way out in the field away from like anything. So the third or fourth time that we collectively took ourselves off track, they shut it down and told us all to get out and stopped everybody else. And they wouldn't even let us ride them back for a ride on the four-wheeler. They said, no, walk. So it's the walk of shame through the foggy, it's this late night, early morning. But anyway, that's how these guys are of like, hell yeah, I've got a NASCAR. Fuck it. We can fix it. And just beating and banging. It's so fun to watch.
I like seeing the 80s and 90s NASCAR stuff come out. Ray Abraham's redoing the IROC series.
Yeah.
When we all drove his IROC cars.
I want Dave
I'm
Pellis.
amazed at how many of those.
So bad. Full
What
chrome
was-
wheels and the chrome
Yes.
28.
When I got hired to drive the Ford GT with the SVRA competition, I went there and the group 5 went out, and a bunch of like 80s era NASCARs, and like the Mountain Dew car came out, the Kelly Yarbrough's car.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just, whoa, I didn't know those cars were still racing. It's just
So
like,
fucking cool.
they ran chrome wheels, and G-body, the G-body era. Oh, man, I like that. It is fun to see them race. They run them hard. And there's a bunch of those cars out there.
What's funny,
There.
you see a Lumina NASCAR from that era. You're like, man, that's fucking badass. And then you remember, you're like, the fucking Lumina. It's not cool at all.
It's like you can go out and get thrash on that, because what are you gonna break?
Yeah.
Anything you break on that, you can go to fucking Pet Boys and fix it.
Yeah.
But, something like that.
Yeah.
It's you gotta be a little more delicate. Man.
Fast forward to this past weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, were you at North America?
I was there. Yeah, I didn't get to see a lot of race. I did see the IndyCar stuff run,
Cool.
but I didn't see a lot of stuff race.
So I was there. The car we had there was a 1937 Bugatti, Type 57 Bugatti.
Is it offered?
You just go to Google and search Scott Larson Bugatti. The car's been in his family for years. Neat, beautiful car. So it's a 1937 Bugatti, and it started life as a sedan, like a car. And then in the 60s, it was built into a race car. And then Ron Fournier did that body in the 90s. I think in the 90s, he did that body. And then they've raced it ever since. We ran that car all weekend. Ran it hard. He runs it hard. Didn't have a good end of the weekend. She's expired. Oh, yeah. Yep.
The end of it.
Yeah, so that one.
But you're here, so it wasn't that bad.
No, just the engine
Okay.
failure. Yeah, so I got to fix on that one. But the
It
big.
doesn't look like the hole was that big, though, in the side of the block.
No, about the size of a golf ball.
Yeah.
And pieces. It's always fun when the wrecker's like, here's your engine pieces.
Yeah, but that one thing you said, the piston was like, you're like, I don't need this one.
Don't need that. Don't need that. Yeah, I popped it.
This is no good.
And I'll be interested to see what happened with that, because we've ran the car. It's been in 6 different on-track races since then. He ran at the Millavite for Faber. It was running good, running fine, and then just popped out of nowhere. So I have to figure out what happened there. But that wasn't the big one to begin. The P4 Ferrari. Did you see
I
it?
did not see that. No.
It crashed big time.
Did it really?
Yeah.
That was the that red mid-engine.
Correct. Now, it's not one of the original, I think there's a 4 or 6 original chassis.
Okay.
It's the a 60s era P4 Ferrari. He was coming down the big downhill straightaway to turn 5 and lost brakes. And as he was going straight, a Lola apexed and turned, and he caught the Lola right in the door and flipped it over, and they both went into the tires, burst into flames. So looked horrific. Yeah. Both drivers climbed out. They smoke inhalation and sore, but both drivers
Pretty low.
climbed out. Yeah. Yeah. It was a big crash.
This popped up, but
Yeah, bad.
Fat Chad on the Bugatti.
He's a Bugatti, yeah.
He's a big Bugatti.
Yeah.
It's a historical. I think that's a historical recreation.
That's a coach built car.
That's it.
Ralph Lauren's car.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yep.
That's the original OG and Fat Chad.
Hell, it's like Dial Ice a little bit there.
Oh, it's like a dip some Journey's ass. Like,
I'm not the one talking shit.
not now.
Have you ever seen the round door Bugatti and that body style?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know where that car's at now, but it's.
Called it. Yeah, that car's.
And then the Henry Ford has a Bugatti Royale.
Oh, that color is.
That's pretty. That's it. There's a Bugatti Miller story that's pretty cool.
Really?
So yeah, the Type 57. The reason I work on that Type 57, the Type 57 Bugatti engine, he copied it off of a mill. It's a big mill. So what happened was in 1930, two racers had front drive millers. They were the Packard cable cars. Packard cable was like a spark plug cable wire sponsor of two front drive millers, 91s. They sent them overseas to run in the GP, the Grand Prix over there. They took them over on ships, which is just, you think about that. Take a ship liner over to Europe to race in 1930. Went over there, raced them for 2 years, 31, 32. 1932, by then they were like 5-year-old cars, so they were kind of worn out. Instead of bringing them back, they sold both cars. They would sell them, come back, and have new Millers built. They sold both cars to Intor Bugatti. Bugatti bought the cars, takes them back to his factory, tears them down. 2 years later, the Type 57 comes out. And it's
Really?
Yes. And it's an exact, when you see the Type 57 engine, it is an exact copy of a Miller. But what Bugatti did was he improved all the shit Miller you wish Miller would have done. He way better oiling, split crankcase, so you don't have to do that crazy thing where, like, you see off the guys, they'll heat the case up and drop the crank from it. No more of that. Split case. The gears, instead of being straight cut gears, they're bigger gears, they're angle cut, quieter. Instead of the valve riding right on the cam bucket, they put like armatures in there. Like, he improved Miller's design, but he copied it. So he builds the Type 57. Then he builds other stuff. The rest is history of Bugatti. In 1956, author Griff Borgeson, who was working for Road and Track at the time, they had a reporter in England that was doing a story on the old Bugatti factory, and this reporter took pictures of the old Bugatti factory.
Uh-oh.
And Griff Borgeson's in the United States, and he's a racer. He understood all these Indy cars. He's flipping through. Here sits the two Packard cable Millers, half taken apart on their tarps, by their tarps. So, well, I think by then, like, everyone kind of knew, but the two Millers were sitting there. So Griff Borgeson got funding together, and they went to England and brought those two cars back. And there's pictures in there's a book called The Golden Age of American Auto Race, a real good book. There's pictures of those cars on the shipping docks at Los Angeles with the wooden crate, and they're like lifting the crates off, and they're original Millers, untouched, from the 30s.
That's fucking cool.
It is. It's fucking amazing. Those cars came back. Griff organized the restoration of the two cars. One is a black number 4. The other one is a purple Miller. The black number 4, the Indianapolis Museum restored and owns to this day. You can see it. It's on display. Phenomenal. Obviously one of the more unmolested Millers because it never got taken apart. The purple Miller was Griff Borgeson's car. So he made a deal with the Indy Museum. He wasn't a rich guy. He told the museum, if you guys will restore both cars, you can have the black one if you'll restore mine. So the museum went for it. And this was like in the 50s, the late 50s or 60s. So the museum did that. Borgeson gets his purple Miller. A museum in Los Angeles decides they want to put it on display. He puts it on display in the museum. While it's on display, that museum ships it to New York to some other museum to display without asking Griff. Goes to the museum in New York. Griff's like, okay, I didn't really approve that, but I guess it's on display there. Leaves that museum, goes to another museum. Griff never got his car back. They took it from him. He never got his car.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and that whole story is in the book. Now, today, that car is in the Smithsonian in storage. Hasn't been out since Has been out the last 10, 15 years. I've never seen it. But no, I'm not, it hasn't been out in years. And it pisses me off because it's supposed to be out.
Yeah.
And one of the things about that car that I have learned, say it right here, is that when that car went in the Smithsonian, it was, I don't know if it was donated or what, but it was placed in the Smithsonian with a amount of money set aside for them to display the car and bring it out.
Yeah, it never happened.
And it's got been out in like 10, 15 years. Smithsonian, if you're listening to them, I'd like to see the car.
Yeah, they listen. So
I'd really like to see a comment.
keep an eye on it. I was going to say front and center here for you.
I'd really like to see it.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, it's a cool Bugatti tie-in. That's why that's the only reason I work on that car, because I know Millers. So I'm not a Bugatti guy. I'm just a Miller guy. But yeah, we popped that dude this weekend. So let's see.
It's gonna be like 50, 60 years from now. Somebody's doing a tour of the Chevrolet factory, and see, there's that 458 that they took apart to build the C8. Yeah.
The Ferran Lamborghini.
Yeah. It's true.
Who's that?
He said it on here. I don't think he should have said it, but he said it. But
Who's that old black Corvette that is up front? It's badass.
Oh, yeah, that's Elliot. He's the guy that actually edits this podcast. Elliot's
he's gonna love this part.
Elliot's the media guy.
To me, that's the good Corvette.
Awesome movie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a record.
That's the one. That's the last of the good Corvettes.
Yeah, he's
not a fan.
He's pretty into it, and he's got some cool margin on it.
That's awesome.
Those cars are shockingly good to drive. Those cars, it could be one of the best things that Chevrolet built. And how easy they are to modify.
He's back to loving it now. He's
yeah,
super happy with it the last probably 3 or 4
and
months.
some ups and downs with it, I know, but they are full.
That's awesome. That's all I do now is just the Miller, the Indy cars. I am back into hot rods a little bit. One of my Miller customers in California, Tony Pereira, I'm building a 32 Ford Roadster for him. So, yeah, there we go.
Oh, Jones.
Yeah.
I got a 32 Ford Roadster in my shop and a 2-door sedan that I'm building, and it's the first hot rods I've built in like
Really?
20 years.
For
it's cool.
different customers?
Yeah, and it lit the fire. It's like,
Two bits hard. Yeah, I've always been a 32 guy, and it would just never go away.
Yeah.
And
now, I've learned some, 20 years of knowledge. Now I can, do stuff that I couldn't do back then.
Yeah.
Chip brought the Roadster days where talk about strength and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had it all planned. Exactly.
We did.
So Firebirds, Fire Chickens.
Yeah, so Alan and Angie's.
Yeah.
Alan called you, get the Angie's car and get that.
And
it's a little the cool cars.
yes.
And she's got another one in the pipeline that's
Back to
Cool. That's his. Then Goofy idea is
his idea, her car.
Yeah. It makes more sense for her.
We had mentioned at the beginning how we've all been in this for years. The first year I went to Louisville Street Rod Nationals in my sedan was 2000, I think. Either 99 or 2000. And I drove it down there, and I didn't know anyone. But I was kind of wanting to park it with all the cool cars. And this young couple that was there had a nice hot rod there. And they came over and looked at my sedan. This is a cool sedan. and we became buddies. And that, years later, it just the fact that we became buddies, and he became an amazing builder. I met so many builders that early, like Jesse and all those. But yeah, we became friends, and they called me to do this car. They just wanted me to pinstripe it, the factory pinstripes. And I had no idea how much pinstriping was on those cars. It's insane because she's got the silver car right there, and I get in there, and that silver car has stripes on every single body line, every corner.
Every time I've really played it.
It's insane. And it's all tape, like tape stripes.
Edge, though, like I said, I like it. Double and triple stripe.
It's red and black or red, black, red, black, red. It's all over, even over the roof, everything, striping everywhere. The guy had to roll a tape. I bet it was 3 rolls of tape, striking. So they wanted me to do the same thing on a white one, but I told him, I said, well, I want to do it, but I'm not doing it that fit. I want to do this one really thin, really tasteful. So we did that, and then I added some color to their bird, but that's not my bird. I didn't do that bird. I just added color to it.
Right.
But that's such a fetching car. I like my favorite thing about that car is the suddenness of it. It's one of those cars that you don't realize what all's done to it until you spend time looking at it. one of them. We all like co-stars.
Is Alan in there wearing a non-hooded white sweatshirt? Is that what
They might be right. I wish you mentioned Alan. Well, no, you did a pretty damn good little impression there. Alan is one of those. We like Alan and Angie a lot. Like everything from the Johnsons. Alan is no, it's not a thing. No, we talk about this at shows all the time. You meet people or whatever. Man, I just was hanging out drinking with Alan. Alan's a nice guy. I mean, but there's also so many people like, oh yeah, Alan, like, oh, what's his problem? Like, dude, he's so quiet, right? And he gets this thing of being an asshole.
I've never heard that.
I see it. Saw it this one.
Yeah.
I can see it. It's like,
I think he's trying to deflect.
Yeah.
Because the difference is like
You wouldn't do anything. I didn't start this. How is it gonna be? Come back to me.
You kind of sometimes think that, but you push past it right away because everyone's like, oh, Alan is pretty cool. He's still quiet. You, on the other hand, it's like, that dude's a fucking asshole. Well, he's quiet, he's standoffish, and he's definitely an asshole.
I thought he was
And then
an
they get
asshole
to know,
when I
like,
talked to him.
and that's you get
Definitely
to know
is.
Alan a little bit. And you're like, dude, like you said, you're like, Alan's fucking cool. Like that's how I was. I obviously knew of Alan for years. We didn't establish a friendship until like much later. I'm like, dude, Alan's fucking badass. Josh, on the other hand, you're like, they're fucking asshole. Yep. Fucking asshole.
I'm trying to give somebody a compliment, and it ricochets. It ricochets and comes back to the.
You should have known, dude. You should have known that way. You're a farmer. You're just planting seeds. You can just later come back and harvest after yourself.
You walk right into that.
I love it.
No,
Everyone that works there too. The worker with boats.
Yeah.
Barefoot's over there. So I did that car last year. It debuted at SEMA, and Jesse's Firebird was in talks then, and I thought they were both going to debut at the same time. So I was kind of stressed.
Alan works a little faster, Jess.
Yeah. So I was kind of stressed on time, and the deal with this one, the Gold Chicken, was Jesse came to me same time, like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and said, "Hey, we're building a Firebird. I want you to do the Firebird on the hood and solid gold leaf." And immediately I'm like, "Oh, that's a bad idea. That's a badass idea. It's awesome." But I started thinking of the birds and how solid they are. It's just a big chunk of vinyl. And I'm like, that's going to be just a bunch of gold.
Yeah.
And I can do it, but no. And then I started looking at factory birds, and they've got all these different colors of silvers or gold. So I started thinking like airbrushing it and all that. And then it dawned on me that the gold you can get copper leaf, palladium leaf, bronze leaf, brass leaf, gold leaf, silver leaf, red leaf. There's like hundreds of different leaves you can get. So I did some research and figured out all these different leaves, and then told Jesse like, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing in different shades of leaf." And then 2 days before I went down, I decided like I can't do the factory bird. I gotta do something different. So I drew up like 5 different birds. They were all cool, except that was the one I really liked. And that's a typical artist trick. Like I had 5 drawings, and like that drawing was like way prettier and better and tighter.
Before and after.
Come on,
The
man.
lighting on this one,
Yeah,
frowny face.
Yeah, exactly. And they were standing there. I keep pushing that one out. This one's really cool. So, and luckily they went right for that one. I wanted it kind of like more imperial bird looking and modern and to fit the car. So did that bird, and it turned out killer. I love it. I love it. I flew down there and did that one. That was kind of a side story. I flew down there I shipped my paint, but I flew with all the leaf, and the leaf is like comes in stacks books. Mm-hmm. So I had a metal box with palladium, gold, silver, like all these rare earth metals and TSA flavor. And they opened it up.
You try to carry on.
I checked the bag. I checked it, but I was smart enough to put a note in it, and I put like, "This is gold leaf for a custom paint job at Jesse Greening's Hot Rod Shop in Alabama. Thank you." And taped it up, and sure enough, they had opened it. Like everything was still there, but they went through it.
Mess up any of the.
No, they opened it both ways, which I don't care. That's fine.
He caught me off guard and said he ships paints. I could Phil ships his pants too. Oh, ships his paint. Look at it got me as soon as he said it, I had to laugh audibly. Apologize.
All I'm picturing as I'm all I'm picturing is
I'm gonna shit my face
the whole time with this thing in the booth, and Jesse's standing there like working an espresso machine next to it and going back and forth to the hood talking like, we make a joke that Jesse's looking more and more like a barista the older he gets,
Yep.
You should have seen him. You should have seen him at damn.
Is he one barista away from a man bun?
Yeah, beard's getting longer and like the hats are getting funkier.
He wasn't there when I did it.
He looks
He was like Bear Jackson.
he looks like a grown up. He looks like one of the grown up childhood actors from like Stranger Things or something. He's spun around. Like, oh, that's whatever happened to the kid from.
Who was it that was busting his balls at Columbus and he looked like a character from the Sandlot?
That's what I did.
Is that what you say? Yeah.
It's like, yes. I'm sure he was when probably 20-something years old when I first met him.
Yeah, you throw that a stick in a little handkerchief, a little bat over it.
This car turned out cool.
Full transparency, I've got a couple lists of ideas of tattoos that I'm going to get. And the Wayland wings is one. So I'm going to do the Wayland W turned into those wings.
Cool. Good.
I think that'd be a fucking killer ass tattoo.
Into the Firebird wings?
Yeah, into those Firebird wings.
Yeah.
I
That'd be rad.
told Jesse, I was kind of mentioning to Jesse to put that
right there. Maybe you can just draw it for me and get that.
I told Jesse to please put that exact bird on the back of a black t-shirt. Just because, like, I wear that.
That's what I was thinking right here was that.
The cat right there on the back of a black shirt. That's it. That's all you need.
Dude, you know what? Jesse couldn't wear it, but everybody else is cool.
It's got room for your mullet to go right down the center with a scoop.
You need that on one of those like old school 80s like black satin car jackets. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Eyes fucking rock.
There you go.
That's kind of got that
Cobra guy kind
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
that needs to be done. Embroidered.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. I was happy with that car. I'm glad it just debuted. I have not seen it clear coated.
That's really good.
You guys seen it?
So they got a Roadster Shop Builder's Choice Award at the Columbus, Ohio.
One of the stories of the way the shit behind the scenes no one sees. I went down there, did that bird. Took like 4 or 5 days. Jesse wasn't there. He's at Barrett Jackson. Did it. Got done. Looked beautiful. I left. And it sat all weekend to like breathe. And then Tuesday they clear coated it in one spot in the upper left wing. Again, wrinkled and raised him. And I've never had leaf ever wrinkled. Ever. I've never had leaf wrinkled. I don't know why. And it was only one spot, about 2 inches by 1 inch. Huge wrinkle.
Couldn't be your fault. It's clear.
Dude,
Sure. It's meant to be clear.
Jeff was drinking a beer over. So and it was actually in the copper up there. So I told Jeff, I'm like, well, I'm not letting that fly. I'm coming back down. Whether you pay me or not, I'm coming back down. So scheduled. I told him, I said, bury it. Just bury it, scuff it, bury it. Build me up some clear so it's smooth, and I'll come in and redo it. So about it's like 3 or 4 weeks later, I went back down and redid it again. Yeah, part of it.
That's what. So that
Because I ever done that kind of stuff.
see that boat model up there?
Yeah.
So we built that, real life and full scale, and the graphics on the side, it's engine term gold leaf, right? Same, hand gold leaf, same shit happened. Fucking 27 foot long down the side of it. Bro,
Oh, really?
cleared it late at night, come in the next morning, and wrinkle and sand, and we couldn't fix it, sand it all off.
Yeah, I've never had.
Ground a base go
I'm not. Yeah.
night.
It sucked. Nowhere else on the car because there was a lot of leaf on that car, all the writing and everything. Nothing else did. But I don't know. But I was really happy that they took that design and then put it in the cylinder centers and steering wheel.
It's a killer. Yes, that's it.
When builders do that, I was it's killer. You're totally taking it home.
Speaking of, you mentioned the idea of jackets. I like the jacket idea. Speaking of apparel, can't help but notice. Get yourself a little shirt on.
Dude, you see that?
OG shirt.
See that throwback?
Oh man, look at this shit.
Now,
Now he's making a liar out of me.
no conversation. No conversation. I swear. So this is for everybody at home. Josh texted me a couple of days ago, a couple of pictures of some things. It's like, hey, just let you know, give you a heads up. Do with this as you please. I'm gonna bring some stuff with me. We did some conversations back in the day about some art. And I said, oh yeah, absolutely, bring it. I'm gonna tee it up at the right time. Then today, Jeremy comes in, he's got that shirt on. And I'm like, why are you wearing that shirt? And then, oh, got Josh's on there today. I was like, okay, well, this is not gonna go as high profit as this is.
Not at all. So I pulled all this out, and I showed my wife this yesterday, and I said, I did all of these designs 20 years ago. I did all these designs, and I showed them guys that, and I never could get any feedback. I don't think they liked any of them.
Dude, we ran those.
I never got any feedback. I just walked away from it. I don't know. I never did get anything back. Like, totally. To this day, I was like,
I think you owe him money.
motherfuckers.
Oh, no shit.
I'm like, man, them guys, they never did shit with
Dude, we
emails.
we ran this one. We got it. We did pay.
I said 90. I'm like 90%. I don't know if I ever got paid. I don't know. I just remember like totally walking away.
For the past 20 years, you could motherfucking me. And here I'm like, this Josh showed he's badass. I've been wearing his shirts for years, and he's like, fuck this asshole.
Yeah, but I did all this artwork and they didn't do shit with it. And then I'm looking through here and I'm like, damn, Sonny's this 100 badass.
Yeah.
Dude, so
did you do anything with that?
that one we never did, but that's sick. I don't know what you're.
I loved it.
So here,
I couldn't wait.
that one we ran.
Now that one I remember that. I don't have artwork for that, but I remember that.
Yeah. So I've been wearing these now.
No shit.
I just started digging these out of like an old box in the garage.
I'm so
old Roadster Shop
I'm
shirts.
so happy now. Well,
I mean, I must have, 100 of those. That was like the pinnacle of Roadster. That was our first apparel. So I've been wearing these around the shop the past couple days. And dude, everybody in the shop is freaking out. And
I
they're
don't
like,
do this at all.
really?
I remember like now, the way I remember it is I did all this artwork and you guys never used any of it.
Oh, we used it all.
But I will go on. I will tell you right now, I drank a lot of Jack Daniels in that era. And like, you guys probably could have been in front of me with this shirt on and been like, didn't do shit with my artwork.
This shirt's coming back.
Dude,
I love that you got that.
Yeah,
that's
listen.
great.
as of where, didn't you work through Race and Streamline on these with you?
I don't think it was direct.
It was. I know one time was direct because in Louisville we talked in Louisville we drank a lot of them too.
Yeah, we were all.
So let me further the story.
This one we ran.
That's the one.
That's
Yeah,
what
we ran that. I'm wondering because I did do stuff through Race, which would make sense. Race might have just been like, let me be the mediator here to do that.
Yeah, most of it was through Race because he was the connection. I know fucking Josh McWhorter.
I know I did some.
Yeah, I never saw that or that one.
These were all just ideas for sure.
Middleman that filtered some of that stuff.
Probably. I love that one. That's pretty dope.
Dude, that I did.
And maybe that one never got to you guys.
It did, but you gotta like email this to me.
These are all staying here, dude.
Oh, fuck! This is going on. This is going on the wall. This one's getting.
And as you can see, if you turn it over, these are all the originals.
Yeah, so that's what's on the.
So
yeah.
So we've been
That's hilarious.
So we've been toying with some different ideas, and this is going to be.
We're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back. So this is going to be the very first oil and whiskey designer collab shirt. So it's going to be a designer series. So this is the Josh Saw series, right?
It's a 50-50 shot if we get back to you.
There's an artist. Hey, we're not. I think it's pretty obvious we're going to pay the man. I didn't know what I would get into on this one. And we're gonna pick one, and then maybe two. You think we should let the listeners choose?
I think we should.
It's a re-release of the original.
Great.
Yeah, re-release or limited edition.
Do you guys? No, let me ask you
That's
this.
great.
Do you guys remember? And this is in a drunken haze.
Yeah.
But do you remember being at the Continental in Louisville, the Continental Hotel, and I swear being in the hallway there and damn near being ready to throw down.
Really?
Yeah, like pissed off. Shit. With you guys and a couple other guys. But I was shit-faced drunk. We were it's probably 2 in the morning, drunk. And then that was it. That's all I remember.
I don't remember.
And I
mean, we were.
and,
you were gonna
and I
fight-
assure you.
You were going to fight us, or
Oh yeah, I was probably going to fight everyone in the parking lot at that point. But I don't
That's
remember
not
that at all.
Jack Daniels night.
100%, 100%.
Check
But
it.
I'm so glad you've done this podcast.
So am I.
All these years, I've been a huge fan of yours, and here you're like, fuck this asshole.
Can you? This is
I'm sorry, honey. I'm so sorry.
this is
Dan Webb is gonna love this. Because I told Dan this story. I'm like,
motherfucking me for years.
this is my picture tonight. When I'm go to sleep, I'm gonna be thinking about how many times Josh Shaw has posted something on Instagram, and Jeremy's been like, "Oh fuck, that's fucking badass. That's fucking cool." And at the exact same time, Josh Shaw's scrolling through a Roadster Shop. He's like, "Those motherfuckers." I'm so sick and tired of hearing. So the fucking pops up and never kidding me. And this alternate reality's been going on for the last 15 years.
I take full responsibility for being a loud, drunk, loud man.
We're gonna make it up. We're gonna make it up by rerunning. We're doing a throwback shirt, and we are running these, and they're gonna be on fucking Instagram, and we are rolling.
Same.
Yeah, we
ran different color.
that one we ran. We've got a ton of shit. We've got boxes and boxes.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I am, because I remember thinking like, dude, I don't know what went wrong there. I wanted to do this artwork and they never did it. So who knows?
Yeah, it's got. I mean, I'll bet we ran them, reran them. These shirts lived for 8 years.
This was for sure.
Race is probably dying laughing right now. I'm sure he is. Well, good. I'm
Somewhat serious question. 20 years since these have been done, how do you take a drawing and turn it into a t-shirt now?
So I do the same. Not it has to be digitized. So the very few t-shirts I do, t-shirt artwork, I do, like I've done some for Angie here at Johnson's recently. I still do a hand pencil drawing like that. Like I'll do a really, really tight file. I'll do black and white and then a color comp, but somebody still has to scan it in, digitize it, and turn it into digital artwork.
We just did that with
So, and I just tell people, like, the few times I do artwork, I'm like, guys, you guys got to digitize it, because I don't. If I was still doing artwork full time, I would learn to do that and do. You know, I mean, I went to school and I ran Photoshop and Illustrator, and I did, but I just didn't look at.
I think that's
great. That's what's on the back. That's what's on the back of this.
That's so, because that was always one of my favorite designs, just the front of the car like that. Dude, this is hilarious.
Which is cool. Like, and my old man wore this shirt.
Yeah.
Always this shirt and this shirt. Like,
I assure you,
most of my memories of him are wearing that, mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Like that shirt. That's all he ever wore.
I got a question. What? I know he didn't do the palm tree one, right?
Yeah, that was way before.
What about redoing a Josh Shaw version
Of that.
the palm tree?
I can
It's like
bring it
the
in.
saying. I want the.
Oh, a special touch of California. Well, at the time it was an El Genoa.
That would be Wendell.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
But dude, I would say
Touched me special.
California touched me. This one needs to come back. Like,
You get a shop shirt.
because
Yeah, that's a good job.
that's a really good shirt, man.
I even like this week was like, I wonder if I should book out. Oh no. Like you guys are cool. I like it.
Hey, you can't
I don't know if I
believe-
should bring it up or not.
When you text me, I was like, oh fuck yeah, forget it.
And then you shut up with
And then he showed that shirt, dude. I said, "What are you wearing that shirt?" He's like, "Josh designed it." And I was like, so and then I'm looking at him like, he's like,
gonna work?
he said, "Why are you asking?" I was like,
what's worse?
I just think be prepared because I think there's 2 versions of this story.
What's better is we've sat here for what, an hour now, and I've not noticed that yet.
That was it, dude. But what's funny, I thought the podcast was, I'm terrible with like scheduling. So I thought we were doing this yesterday. So yesterday I wore that shirt. And I came to film my, hey dude, and I was all proud of my Josh Shaw's coming. I'm like, I'm wearing the shirt, dude. Wear the fucking shirt. And he's like, he's not coming till tomorrow. I'm like, oh shit, well I can't wear this again tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I love it.
But the guys in the shop were freaking over these.
Cool.
They're like, dude, because they never seen them. These are they're old. Because the guys around now never saw this.
No, yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a different look. Even when you do hand artwork, it always looks different.
We'll bring it up. It's gonna be a limited edition now. Very limited drop. And then they're gone forever.
How many you got in boxing? Up at show you 50, 60 of me. I mean, all like stomachs all.
Say some original.
Yeah, stomachs all torn up from grinder marks and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think I've got clean. I wouldn't see that.
Dude,
Those are worth more.
you gotta sell those.
So those are worth something. So we actually did something with that.
Nobody wants your blown out belly shirt.
You can spend a lot of money for shit like that on like vulgar phones.
I was gonna say I'm wearing OnlyFans.
It's an OnlyFans page. My grinder shirts.
Oh, that's
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm happy to hear that, man. That's awesome.
Oh man, that was
That's good.
uh Had he seemed pissed off, I would have given you a heads up, but he didn't say. I was going to fight you guys. It was just like, this would be funny.
Wait, I did so much bullshit back then with the party and the wild shit back then.
You could
This is a
say,
different
I'm not completely sure of how it went down. I just don't think that these ever got you.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I remember it. It's just that time that from 2000 to 2010, that was just such a wide open 100 elbow down. I can't believe we survived it. Can't believe the car survived it. All that.
Yeah.
Built some cool shit and did some cool artwork, but man, some of the stories from them were just the BSM days. That's a different Amber.
Yeah, you've had a crazy career, dude. Like,
I was thinking that the other day, and you guys were saying at the beginning how like there's so many assets of what I've been into.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I would have picked one, I'd probably have made more successful.
you wouldn't have the stories.
But no, and I don't wish I would have. You know, I don't regret it, but it's just like I've spread so thin in so many things that it's like a jack of all
But
trades.
what's your
But I like
definition of success?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question because I'm happy where I'm at. You know,
That's the
I'm married.
Yeah.
I love my wife. I love my girls. Everything's awesome. I have a good house.
'Cause
I like what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing. You know,
a case could be made.
I mean,
that all of those paths influence the next path. So if you would have picked one path and you wouldn't have had those
I thought that.
influences for
yeah,
those, but
I thought that because like where I was at when I graduated college, I wanted to start designing and building hot rods. In my head, I wanted like Jesse and Alan's shop.
Yep.
I wanted a hot rod shop with a big ass hot rod shop with a bunch of employees and a big ass Kenworth badass semi truck hauler.
to then never build
And
hot
that's
rods
it.
again.
And that's it. Yeah, and then just walk around and watch everyone else build the hot rods.
I
But
can tell you all about that.
and there was years that was my dream, and then that I got burnt out on that, and the whole hot rod scene seemed like the hot rod scene changed with as a whole. You know, the real quick, like the traditional scene was so odd that, and you guys were there for it too. In the early 2000s, the traditional scene came on hard, and you had like choppers in California and Jimmy Shine and all that shit going on. And then all over the country, like guys, we were building these traditional hot rods, and it was an outlaw thing to do. It was like, fuck your billet cars, and screw your pastel Easter color cars. We're building real hot rods that open headers and burnouts and shit. And all this traditional scene, and then we were real strict, like kind of pre-69, pre-59, whatever your thing was. Yeah, it's all that, exactly. And it exploded, and it was an awesome scene. And then it felt like that scene got so politicky of this has to be this has to be traditional. The traditional has to be such a certain way
The outlaws created rules.
that
And that's
we
the
got to
outlaw.
right where the billet shit was like, it has to, all these rules and all this stuff. I'm like, wow, they're right back where we didn't want to be.
Yeah.
It was an odd thing to watch, and that's what I felt.
Well, I getting to know you this podcast and your interest and especially even talk about the Indy cars, right? And it's you could jump a decade backwards. You jump a decade backwards. I'll have issues in this. I honestly, you just got to take stock and give yourself you've got a thirst for knowledge, and it's not ADHD. It's not. It's like, okay, I've consumed this and I've scratched that itch, and
That's what
makes
it
that
feels like.
rapid.
That's what it feels like.
and then it's like,
Master
what's
this,
the one?
go to the next thing.
What's the next genre? What's the one that came before this? Why are these like this? Let me go through this. Or and I think that you're probably better at all of those individual skills because of the other skills that influence those. I'm sure you draw and design cars way different after having built so many.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you do your artwork completely different, after having built the cars and understanding, how that stuff would lay out. Everything
Yeah.
references the next.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I agree. I like your theory of just scratching that itch because I find that with cars too. There was, I get in my head a certain car I want. Like 8 or 9 years ago, I wanted a '66 El Camino. Like I kept looking at it, I'm like, I gotta have a '66 El Camino, gotta have it. And I found a '66 El Camino, and like the want that I like, gotta have it. Like, and everyone at the time, I'm Google searching them and I'm looking at them. I'd do this and I would do that. Found one, built it, paint black, black steel leaves, red line tires, put a big block in it, 4-speed. Awesome car. I owned it for a year, drove it for about a year and a half, then parked it at my mom's barn. Went a whole summer, didn't drive it. Some guy from New Jersey offered me big money for it. I sold it, and I've not had an itch for one since.
Yeah.
I see them, and I'm like, oh, those are bitch, and I had one of those. But that itch isn't there. So it's kind of the same thing. I'm like, I did that, I guess. I don't know. It's weird.
The scratching and the itch, we talk about it all the time, mostly here off the podcast, like, from a mental side of things, of like, why, why we have to be this way? Why can't we do this? Different stuff. I won't go into it too deep, but it's the scratching of the itch, but you're also addicted to the scratching, right? So as soon as that itch is scratched, like, it's the on to the next thing.
I like to build. I like to hunt and build. I do.
It's the chase and getting all the details and finding it, learning about it, mastering it, and then like, man, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a. I don't personally like it. I'm aware that it is what
It's a bit.
I am.
It's a
what
bit
we
of,
are.
It's a bit of an addiction. I mean, it's sort of like a drug addiction. It's you build on it, like that El Camino. I'm the same. I'll see it. I'll see a car, and then all this, I tell myself that I fucking have to have that, and I'll build it in my head down to like every single detail and chase it. Start looking for that car, and right about the time when I'm like, maybe found it, I've already found the next thing that and then sometimes I'll move forward with it, and I'll actually like procure said car.
Yeah.
And then you're just done with it,
It's just, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
It's thrills in the hunt, man.
I love the hunt. I love the build. Well, I like the research on the Indy cars. I love researching cars. I've got probably 5 or 6 old vintage sprint cars in storage that I'll restore someday, and I am always researching those cars, and I own it.
Right.
And I know, like, I'm restoring a Bob Kinzer car right now, and I know everything there is to know about that car. I got hold of the guy that was the crew chief on the car.
Wow.
Talked to him. The car's going together now, and everyone keeps asking me, like, my dad was like, "Is that a keeper?" I'm like, I don't know.
Tell him next one.
Like, I know, like, as soon as I get done, I'm going to go run it a few times, and then if someone offers no money, I'll let it go because it's done. It's finished.
I think guys like what we're describing, we're all seeing very similar. I think guys like us get 3 good drives out of a vehicle. And then
That's true, yeah.
Because the first one is generally filled with excitement and then always a little too short.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking about the next one. Oh shit, I had to do this. I only had this amount of time. Then the next one, you do it for a little bit longer and you're like, okay, that's great. Then now the third time, this is going to be the epic trip, right? Now I'm going to be able to go do all these things. And then you do all that. And on the way home, you're kind of like, man, I'm really stressed about doing this thing, whatever. But now I could have done it. But probably too early to sell it now because I kind of look like a weirdo. But like, what's the next thing?
People will do that like in a Roadster though.
Yeah. Again, I think 3 times, 3 little stories, 3 little jaunts, 3 little, oh crap, you know what? It's 6 o'clock on Saturday night. It's fucking awesome outside. We ain't got nothing going on. Nobody's telling me I can't go rip. Right?
That's it.
And then come back, you're like, no, that was fucking cool. But
yeah.
It's just like a drug thing. You're like, man,
There's an error.
how do you get higher than that? You got to find a different drug,
Horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a time with a car too where you start looking at, you only see the stuff wrong with it.
Yeah, that's all the time for me.
Yeah. But you get the car done and it's cool. You get that excited, and then it's after about third court drive. I'm like, well, this thing could use this, could use that. No, I wasn't just.
Yeah, I know it. All right, you're a sprint car historian. So, what do you know about this thing?
I'll swipe that.
Cool. Nice.
Anything? Is it?
Good car. It's called a rail frame car. So like the frame rails are exposed, you can see them. And then, so we're talking like 30s and early 40s. Might be a big car, champ car, which could be a sprint car, could be a big car. When I say big car, like there's sprint cars and champ cars. Except for that, I don't recognize the car right off, but it looks like a Pop Dryer sprint car. Pop Dryer was a cool guy. He got a lot of sprint cars. He sold kits and whatnot. It's got a AAA registered dash tag, so that right there is worth as much as the car. Like that's a good. That tells you that it's a real car that actually ran in races. They registered it with the AAA board. Those tags are hard to find. Like guys obviously can reproduce them, but look and see if it shows wheelbase 85 inches. It's a sprint car. It's an awesome car from Dynamat.
No, it's a,
Yeah, be
it's his wife's
careful.
food.
Yeah, be careful.
It's like, hell yeah. Dude, I had a buddy who he's seen the answers phone. He's just like, he's lucky.
Yeah,
But he never skills.
Phil's been there, done that.
Is this car local?
It's so my dad bought that probably 20 years ago,
Nice.
and it's just sitting in the garage.
Nice. It's a good car. Like I said, 30. It's a real car.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. Real car with history. I don't recognize the nuts and special, but
But it has that all over the intake and the head, or does
Yeah, it's a
Wayne?
straight 6, and it's cast into the head, I think.
So nuts and things.
Yeah.
Gas in the head.
real guy probably made his own head. I see the fin head on it. It's got the intake is nuts, but it says Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. There was like a little bit of literature that came with it.
Very good car.
Get it fired up.
It'd be cool to find your up as.
That's a good era. You know, that's the era when every car was same point off. Like there was no catalog parts for those cars. Everything was, I mean, granted they used Ford suspension stuff, but like they made everything. So when you restore a car like that, you're gonna, if something's missing, you're coating it.
Yeah.
Your makeup, which I like. I like that era car. That's a good car. Good car to have.
What's it take to put a clutch up on these?
Not bad. The best thing to do is like what I talked about earlier is put like if you can put a Ford, like a early Ford transmission one, that car's got enough room in it to where you wouldn't like to be tight. Like my dad's got a sprint car built him that has a 3-speed Ford transmission in it with a head clutch.
Okay.
It's got a flathead, V8 flathead in it with stock transmission, and it's got a gas pedal and brake pedal, left and right. And then he's out here, some of those cars had a hand brake, but his is a hand clutch.
Okay.
Out there, and it works great. It'll just, you just let it go like a dirt bike and drive it, and then shift gears. Usually drive shifted. It's got a starter on it, everything, which I recommend.
Yeah.
There, the purist in me, you don't want a starter, but for usability, put a starter and clutch on this thing. It's awesome. It makes them so much funner. That's why I built my dad's sprint car. I built him. That's why I built it. We had a couple of sprint cars, but they were push start only. So like if you had bunnies over, it's not like fire the race car up. Like, well,
grab your truck.
go grab your truck. Someone knows how to push it. You got to get in the car. We got to go down the road, push it, come back, hope it starts, wake it up. If it's methanol, we got to drain the gas out, repickle it, stuff like that. So yeah, put a starter on. It's way under. That's awesome. Very good.
Then before we did that thing, opens the launder. I'd bomb that thing around town, dude.
You can take that to the Miller meet.
Really?
Yeah, the Miller meet's not just Millers. It's any front engine cars. Just from like 16th Ave. There's Roadsters there. There's everything, sprint cars. You could take that car to the Miller meet and run laps for 2 days, more laps than you could put gas in.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
You
You with your buddies.
You know anybody that could take that car and just go through it, get it up and running when that'd be crazy with it?
Like that's one of the biggest things I do is just get old cars like that and wake them up. That's like one of my favorite things to do is wake old cars up. I like that.
Think you pay for them fucking designs a while.
We ironed that out. We got through that.
I was thinking in my head before I was like, I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna open QuickBooks. See if we I'm gonna fucking print it tight. We're gonna put it right here with the front.
Next time we're on there, we're sending a royalty check up because these are gonna fly hit.
Oh yeah, gold. He's getting paid. He's getting paid. Getting paid.
That's a very I love it. I'd love to get that thing right.
That'd be cool.
Waking old cars up some of my favorite things.
Nice.
Because again, it's cool. Usually most of the time they wake up pretty easy, and it's cool to see it come to life. It's cool to see them coming to life, and then a car like that, you get it out and run a little bit and get on social media, and you get amazed at how many you can sell. Like, hey, my dad, we got pictures of that car on my family album.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. That car would have just ran on, what kind of fuel would that car run?
That one's on gas. That would be gas, just regular gas. Yeah, you put the race gas in it, so it smells good. And it doesn't sound good stuff.
Straight out South Street.
6?
I think it sounds good. It'll
Okay,
pop.
straight.
It'll yeah. When you let out, it'll candle. Oh yeah. That'll be
Right. Done deal.
And Scott Scoundrel.
yes. First.
Standard questions time.
We went around through break before saying, hey, go for us. I walked out there. Yeah. Half of one of us do that.
That's a great idea.
He's going to look at the QuickBooks.
Yeah, motherfucker, it's free.
Yeah, so Triple Crown years. Triple Crown is a good show, dude. That's sweet. So we're going this year. We're rolling out on a little road tour afterwards, but it's one of the few shows that brings stuff that gets you like out of the booth and to just wander around.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. I was thinking about it the other day. So they're talking to some people at Columbus and going to Triple Crown. And we all should take blame for this because we're all guilty of it. But Triple Crown, the setting and the way it's done. You go to Triple Crown and you see, 20, 30, 40 cars that are 5, 6 to 20 years old, right? Oh shit, I remember that one. And you are excited and you take those in and you're like, that's really cool to see that car. You see some of those vehicles at other shows in just normal environment when they're kind of like, oh, I can still bring that thing. Man, the thing's old, And
It's a different feel.
It's a different feel. And I don't know why. And we're all to blame because we've all done that. God, we're still showing that thing? That thing's 5 years older, But it's still, we're chilling. I'm just being honest.
I just really did a show in 15, 20 years. Went down there. My dad and my nephew. My nephew's big in hot rods now, Gage, and he built a badass little Model A coupe that he drove to Nashville. And it's traditional and all the right shit. But he wants to go to these shows so bad, and he hears all these stories about Uncle Josh in the shows.
Shit.
So I'm like,
It's not like that.
oh yeah, exactly. He's doing his part. But anyways, I went to Nashville with him, and man, I tell people, I said, there's a lot of things about it. It's the size of the whole show I liked. It wasn't like, I like Louisville, but from one to the other, it's a mile.
You're not going.
So like everything was kind of close. Yeah, it wasn't thousands of cars, but it was the ones you want to see. And then the level of the builds, I was fucking impressed. I'm like, wow, these are good builds. And then all the builders I wanted to see were there, and they're all lined up. It was like a mini SEMA because I don't go to SEMA.
Right.
So it's like all the shit I would have wanted the 15 cars I would have wanted to see at SEMA, they were in.
Oh, it's really not everything that Shades was, just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shades always felt there was an element of like a used car lot Shades, not necessarily the show maybe, but the town.
Well, that
sort of produced that,
Yeah, the circus.
But at the show, it was curated. Like you're like the best of the best. Like it was to be a smaller show. You're like everything is great.
It's interesting that it has become that because it's not like they're not procuring these cars or like reaching. It's just sort of
curated.
It's become that, on its own.
It's Bobby's show.
Yeah.
It's gotta admit, like you're not even bringing something. You ain't even joked about it. So
it has a feel of like the Boys show.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I like about it.
It also
that's not a bad thing.
Right. I know, but that just sort of happened. I don't.
a little inside. Not to tell too much.
Okay.
The main row there, pit road. That is curated.
That's just pulling in the parking.
Yeah, well, but no, there's stuff maybe that tries to pull in that doesn't. Oh.
Yeah, it can go right or left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like Bobby used to do at Shades. You had the top 25 area, for judging, and Bobby was looking at every single car pulling in. He'd watch it pull up the hill, or watch it pull down the hill and the whole thing. And he'd get to the thing, and there'd be I'd make a big scene or whatever. Just a little thing, right? And this is, and it is. So, to your point, there is a section of it that's curated.
Yes.
For,
I like it's a good show.
Ryan Stewart talked about it on the podcast. Bill Frank said, "Don't stink up my show." It's go putting on a show. Don't stink up my show.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, standard questions time.
Before we get into that, I found something.
Oh my god, that's all, he didn't have to take a piss wrap it off.
I did have to piss really bad. So there's copies of 2 cleared checks written out to Josh Shaw.
Yes. Damn, and you did pay me for a lot. I'll look at the address.
How much was it?
Oh, sounds like $2,000, huh?
Is it? Yeah, $1,900. You paid for artwork. Rapid run.
Fucking Phil.
Dude, this is fucking awesome. No, what's funny is I'm the wait.
You can't end a single.
There you go. Yeah. I told my wife yesterday when I had these artworks out. I told because she didn't know the story. I said, "Have you ever heard the phrase he showed up with the receipts. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm taking the artwork down that I showed up with the receipt.
Think about how much JD that bought. Think about how much.
Oh, all of it. All of it. That rocks. Oh, that's hilarious.
We're gonna do you proud.
I ate crow so good. You guys did the right.
We're gonna do you proud on round 2, though.
No,
So now they're all good. Everybody's good. Doing something.
Oh, I feel so bad.
He's gonna get the sprint car up and running. Like, we're doing you t-shirts. We are turning over a new leaf
We're
here.
the besties.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're drinking
so
whiskey
great.
together.
Add another 1900 to that. There. Remember? So,
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
oh wow. See, that's swear. It just says so much. It's just so much.
That is
I just wanted to make sure. Look how bad it is. Damn.
no. That's pretty much gonna be. You guys are stand-up guys.
All right.
That's still debatable.
Yeah.
What? I want to know what you would have pinged back in and said had you not found it.
I wouldn't have said shit.
Nothing.
Turns out you're right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked in the system, dude.
You don't. That was a long P. Yep.
Oh, wow, that's good. That is so good.
Wow. All right. And then, just
I didn't remember it at all.
Just I was gonna throw you over here.
I thought we had some.
I was just.
It never ceases to amaze me after doing as many of these that we've done. You know, you come across a new subject, or you hear a new story, or something new happens. You're like, well, I think we've touched it all. There's not anything new that can happen, and yet
Yeah.
here we are.
That's what keeps it interesting.
Pull the receipts
There's no
out.
way to do a bingo card for this. There's no way to do a bingo card. All right. So,
Well, he even said, I didn't design that shirt, and then he's got the design either.
Yeah, I'm like, not that one. Oh, that's good.
starting it off, he drank a lot.
We did too, so I could 100% hit that.
I honest, this is not like joking or being trying to be tough. I've said this before. I don't remember 2004.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did then. I was partying and drinking and just, hey, wide open. You know.
Did you take pictures at least for Bill?
Oh, there's pictures. There's cars. There's pinstripe cars with 04. It looked badass.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I wasn't like drunk then. It's just I would wipe the slate so clean on Friday night that shit ain't sticking around. Like, yeah, that hard drive got wiped.
Yeah.
It's in there. Oh, we won't. In there.
Yep.
There's years I wouldn't mind not remembering.
That too.
Yeah,
That too.
which those ones got wiped. All right, standard questions. We'll start off easy, low hanging fruit. The OG one has been around since day one. Best car movie.
Oh, California Kid. Martin Sheen. I just like that.
That's never been full on was fine. It's shot.
God, it's a good.
I don't think so.
I just watched it again like a few months ago. You know, you got so many car movies that are kind of, some of them are hokey,
Yeah.
or the car's wrong, or the plot's wrong. That one's, watch it again. His car's fucking badass.
It's neck here.
The acting's good. It's got good actors in it. The dude comes into town, Sheen, hooks up with the hot chick that went to the diner, gets one over on the sheriff. Sheriff crashes and burns, and he rolls out. At the end, leaves. I mean, just
I watched that. It's good.
And-
I don't even really.
Oh, some of the families always.
yes. And when you watch it, you will be happily surprised at how quick they're running the coupe.
Really?
Like, you know how sometimes you watch it and you're look close, you're like,
Sped up.
they're going 40.
Yeah.
Dude, they rip that
Really?
thing. Yeah, there's a part of the road that they got cameras set up, and whoever's in it, I don't know if it was Pete or Jake, one of them, or a stunt driver, they're ripping. The only thing in the whole movie, like, you know how car guys we all watch for bloopers,
Yeah.
when they raise the hood of the coupe and show the engine, they don't show the engine in the coupe, they show something else. Like it's like a dress flag or something. It's I forget what it is, but you know right away
It's not it.
the firewall's wrong, the fender's wrong. Like, that's not the engine. Because I think it was just like a 350 Chev, a
Yeah.
single four barrel, but nothing special. Somebody could beat on.
Yep.
And what they show is flashy. But dude, it's a way to get better. That's a good one. I think it's
It's a good goal.
on YouTube. I think you can watch it on YouTube. I just watched it recently.
Yeah, fucking Sheen
The
fit.
girl on it's hot. I mean,
It was good.
who's
Sheen slash best of
who's the crazy actor that crashed the motorcycle? He's wild, man. He was in with
Mickey
Keanu
Rourke.
Reeves. Point Break. The coffee older guy. Crazy actor.
Busey?
Busey. Busey's in it when he's like he's super young.
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Busey's in it. He's a gas station attendant. He's like 25 years old. He's super young in it. Yeah, and he plays a good part. That's a good one.
He just popped up on Facebook. He like
He's still
about a
great.
month ago. Nuts. Like he looks like a skeleton, but just
Some crazy
complete
eye.
nonsense.
Yeah.
At one point in the movie, they pulled into a gas station and it has the monkey trap underneath it to walk underneath the car, and he's tightening up the suspension to make it handle better, and it's a chrome dropped axle with like chrome tube shocks. Like it's not old junk stuff. It's a good looking Pete and Jake's hot rod.
Yeah.
And he's tightening it up and he's like pulling on the fender and you can see the suspension moving. It's pretty good, pretty legit.
Wow. I think it is first time. Good reference.
Yeah, I can't believe nobody's here for it. This is Charlie Sheen's name, Major League. What was his name?
Ricky Vaughn.
Rick Vaughn. Yeah, Rick Vaughn. He was badass.
Wild thing.
You've watched that documentary, Charlie Sheen documentary.
Yeah.
Right? Amazing
Crazy.
documentary.
Crazy. That's on the. Dude, he was on the.
He was hanging out every day. Like
He's not, but if he was listening and you said, I don't remember 2004, it's like, okay.
yeah. Rookie.
I guess like a
Listen to this.
Fucking kid. I remember about 2000s.
dude. That dude when I party.
I remember my
First, it was a great documentary, and even the history of Martin Sheen and how kind of he even lived his life with being so fucking cool, but then like turned off Family Guy, the stuff that they really just great. And my takeaway was damn it, dude that was just in the latest DiCaprio movie. He was in there. He was in the documentary talking about Sheen. Famous actor, been around forever, who's best friends with Charlie Sheen.
Oh fuck, Sean! I remember they talked about partying together. What did Cap do?
The one battle after hell. He was the. You're great that he.
I turned it off.
Wasn't Del Toro.
You see, he like that movie?
Lost interest.
Was it Phoenician?
Started off slow.
No, as soon as you hear the name, it's gonna be Sean Penn.
Sean Penn.
Oh,
Sorry, it sounds so stupid. Sean Penn.
Coley.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sean Penn was amazing in that too, just telling the stories of how still cool but
That
old.
dude, he's always smoking six. Like in interviews, he's a fucking weirdo though.
It's cool.
I always pick. He'd be the best guy to cast in like hot rod movies. He's got like a James Deanish kind of cool guy look, but
See, I ran out and bought denim shirts the day after that. I watched that documentary just to look cool. He did.
did you?
Yeah. He's cool for an old man.
Didn't work for you, that did it. Good time shooting. Just gonna get a little higher.
So red shirt. That'll show.
Yeah. Standard questions. What else we got?
Next up, we've got we're changing the best piece of advice you've ever seen.
Two of them. Brian Brennan gave me the dance with the person you took to the dance.
Yeah.
Speech once.
Right, he gets. I was giving that. He gave that to Bobby Alloway.
Yeah. I was.
Dance with the one brushed.
That was it. Yeah, exactly. I was doing artwork for Street Rider magazine, and another magazine wanted me to work for him.
It's also a great piece of advice. It was also his sales ploy.
Yeah,
To make sure everybody stayed inside.
It's like, come on now. Yeah, it's like it was like a smack on the nose, like, hey now. But it worked. It worked.
You were
know.
nobody. Holy.
Yeah, I mean, he'd put me on the map with all this, like, he sent me an artwork and everything, and then I'm about to, like, go do this on the
I
magazine.
think it also been like, you know what? I'm proud of you. Go spread your wings. You know this.
He did say do what you want, but
You'll be dead to me.
and then the other one that my favorites from Dan Webb is if the UPS truck is pulling up in front of your shop constantly, you're not a hot rod builder. You're a hot rod assembler.
That's pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
all him. And he doesn't like the guys who just assemble cars out of catalogs and fellowship kit. Love fillers, offend people.
It's also easy for Dan to say with,
Oh yeah.
so where'd you buy that mower?
Buy it. Built it.
It was in my head.
Built
and-
every bracket. Built every.
It's nothing but just metal.
Yeah.
I was saying, behind the iron ore, you kind of melted it down.
Yes, there is that. I do enjoy when I build stuff. I like building that little bracket. The 232s that I'm building right now. I could order a 4-lane form.
Yeah.
But I like build part shit. I do. Now, yeah, is it more work? Yeah. Is it smarter to do it? Nah. But I like it. I enjoy it. I do.
I've seen you not to do a cart like with that level under some trick, like And as soon as somebody makes it, it's hard to put it on me.
Yep. No, I'd say I had to at least touch on hot rod politics.
I've got a new one coming that nobody's been asking for. And then think about this for a couple days. Yeah.
Real quick, is there any other advice that Dan Webb told you that maybe his daughter
was
was
not
We
good.
we can hit pause on the record.
Oh yeah.
Tell us off
I'll
there.
tell you off there.
He probably told us the same advice.
Yeah. Dan's awesome. Dan's a colorful guy.
Dan's a great dude. Dan's a dude I want to go to his neck of the woods to a dive bar and hang out.
Oh yeah.
Tell me that would be
I
fun.
don't know if you could hang at a penny with.
I didn't say like all nights.
Yeah.
Start the night off. Dan, before you get sorry, I gotta go.
I think we barely scratched the surface. Damn.
We're gonna bring Dan's coming back. We're gonna go. All right. Next up. Before I forget, this is the new. All right. Firework. So, you brought up hot rod politics. You've been around for quite some time. Had your hands at so many different genres. Get so many different skill sets. Wild show cars, traditional hot rods, restoration, IndyCar. This is perfect to start this question off. Let's pretend, right? Pretend for a minute that you are sitting in front of a mixing table, much like that mixing board over there. You can adjust volumes and you can adjust levels. What's a volume of something that you see or hear a lot in this industry that you'd love to turn down? And the flip side, what's something you'd like to turn up and see more of and hear more of?
I know the turning upside. I'd like to turn up the using them, driving them, abusing them, not just driving them, not cruising them, beating them. I want to see a guy. Amen. I'm like, there's nothing to make like that black Firebird that Jesse brought to Columbus, not stock.
John.
John
Jackson.
Yeah, my dad. John made a video and they're pulling that car in, and halfway through the video, they light up the tires. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I want to see. Just flex it,
Right.
flex it. I want to see that. As far as turning down goes, I'm not in the scene enough to know. Let me think about that. Shit. It's hard for me to say because I'm not really in the scene like you guys are.
I mean, this dude
Probably taking credit for work you didn't do, which is a very broad way of answering that. That's a broad way to. But we all run the guys where like we know the car, who built the car, and then the guys that give credit for it.
Yeah.
You Google the Dynamat coupe, it says Scott Whitford built it. But that's a odd situation because I remember when I got out of college and I wanted to go work at a hot rod shop. I was wanting to go work at a hot rod shop, and I mentioned to Wade, I was thinking about going to work for Barry Loback because I like Loback. Yeah, wild.
The most unsuspecting wild man.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Looked like your grandmother.
He hid us. He hid me and my buddies in his room at Louisville one night to hide us from the cops.
Really?
I mean, that's, and he's like a grandpa.
Yeah.
But, Hawaiian shirt.
But they put them.
Put him away. But I was going to go work for him, and I remember Wade telling me, go work for him, you learn a lot. But you better know going in, nothing you will do will be yours.
Yeah.
Because his name's on the building. And I had to think about that, and Wade's right. So with the Dynamat coupe, yeah, I built the car, but I couldn't have filled it without Scott.
Right.
Scott was the one who funded it. Scott's name was on it. He paid for it because it's ultimately his idea. So, I can't complain about it. So that's a funny area.
That's a tough one. I mean, we experience it like somebody's got to bring the car to the world and show it, which most of the time is me. I'm not the guy that built it, right? I try to do my best to make sure that the guys who had a hand in it receive recognition. I mean, ultimately, they're the talent behind it, but it's a Roadster Shop. It's not a Jeremy Gerber build. It's not a Phil Gerber build. It's a Roadster Shop build because there's a lot of people involved in it. So it's tough to put that on. But we're structured a little different. It's not like you well, probably the guy, that did, which is different. Like if there was the guy that just did the whole fucking car, and then it's like, hey man, check this thing out. It wouldn't be.
That's why I say that's a wide question.
Yeah.
It's our own answer, but I like the question.
It's a new one. I'm interested to see what you guys have there.
But I do hope guys start using their cars more. I love the autocross. I like the with the hot rod of the year with Indy, how they make them drive them and go down a drive strip. Yes, and judge on that.
Yeah.
Do you get rowdy? Yes, more points. It's a hot rod.
That's what the fuck you built it for, didn't you?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I love. I mean, I love using them. We all love using them. Me and Phil just bought back. That's the first 68 Camaro that we built. That was like the very number one spec chassis that we built, number one survivor car. We're a great customer. We built a lot of cars. He's like tinkering with the idea of selling it. And I'm like, I heard through the grapevine, so I'm like, dude, you can't sell that car. It's just candy, buddy. Bought it back. Picked the car up, on like a Wednesday night. He lives local. So I just took an Uber there. I didn't even ask him any questions. Didn't open the hood, get in the car. Drive it 30 minutes back home. Never opened the hood, never did shit. Threw my luggage in it, drove it 1,000 miles to Columbus and back. Never opened the hood again. Jumped in it again. I wiped the wheels off because they had a lot of brake dust on it. The following weekend, drove it up to Elkhart Lake and back. And while up in Elkhart Lake, I'm with my son. I'm like, hey, there's some fun roads up here, and you're at the races, so you get inspired. So I'm Ken blocking that motherfucker through the back roads, like hanging. That car just drifts like.
Yeah, it's the perfect power and tire.
Yeah, it's not a lot of power, but it's a 6-speed, and it's like the right gear ratio. You could just step that car out, and he was having a blast. And still, when I got it home, I just popped the hood to take a picture of something for somebody, but you just drive the shit out of that car.
That's the ride. That's the ride. People remember.
Yeah.
That's the way. Thinking about the other day with my car. 2 very memorable stories in that car. Way back in the thing. Your dad driving it.
Yeah.
Rust No More stop.
Yeah.
In that car.
Yep.
And when we did the detour and we went to the estate sale, I bought the bourbon decanter. Oh, he thought it was really he thought it was really fun. That's all in that car.
I know that car's got some crazy stuff. Shit, I rode in the back of that car on that road tour for like 1,000 miles.
That's it. That's just you remember that.
Yeah. That's a grown ass man though. As a kid,
I get a lot, and
that was a good tour.
Yeah.
Decent amount of people that have come
Road
up to
trip
me.
for the 2 of us.
There's a decent amount of guys that have come up to me that they got their first really wild ride in the hot rod in my sedan.
Yeah.
Like a couple of them were like little kids. Like, their dad would come and be like, hey, take my boy on a ride.
You could change somebody's entire trajectory of life.
Yeah. There's a kid that, he's got a hot rod now. And every time I see him, he's like, that ride in your sedan changed everything. Yeah. But it could have been my sedan. It could have been a Camaro. It could have been anything. He remembers the ride.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
sideways, banging gears, hauling X. Yeah, like that's what he remembers. Cool.
Next up, we have we're gonna go back to back music. So first up, you got this is a good guy's question. We like so much of Captain. You're doing the road trip. You're doing PCH, right? Those times. One vehicle. What's the vehicle? And there's one CD, 8-track, tape, whatever of your choice, in it, stuck. That's the only thing you can listen to the whole trip. What's the album, CD, and what's the car?
Bob Seger and the Silver Bull Band. I do
Listen some Seeger this week.
I go aside over. I then Seger had a funny time, but and a Deuce Roadster. Just a good built Deuce Roadster. Remember Hammer Hank's brown Roadster? Steadfast Hank. He built a brown primer 32 Roadster with black steel wheels.
Here I know.
Has strong small block and a 5-speed. And I drove that car to Milwaukee and back, and
It's hard to beat.
wow, just a good driving car.
To this day.
One of the better driving cars I drove.
That Brooks Gage just brought out a promoter.
Yes. The Bob Seger thing. my dad
Ask how you
my dad's a huge Bob Seger fan, and growing up he would be singing Bob Seger all the time, and he played Bob Seger all the time. And my mom and dad both are pranksters. So mom and dad told me and my sister that dad was the original Bob Seger, and he quit singing when we were born, and that other guy took over. And we believed it. Well, then,
great story.
kindergarten, show and tell.
Oh no.
my God.
I told the whole class, my dad's Bob Seger, and he sings those songs you hear on the radio. And the teacher had to call Pop like,
Sure he is. Josh.
Josh just said his dad's Bob Seger. So,
Horrible, but even thinking beforehand.
oh, they loved it. They love it. They still love it. That's how they are. They love it. But yeah, so Bob Seger's my dad. That's
Seegers. Fire Lake or Night Moves?
Night Moves. I do like Night Moves. That just like those are songs like listen to over and over and over. Not good old.
Yeah, Seeger on vinyl.
The Fire Down Below. All that chance just too.
Right at the other day. Just Saturday before he went down there.
I've seen my family we've seen Seeker like 4 or 5 different times with the whole family.
Yeah, they owed it to you. Horrific experience. Bob Seeker. Oh wow. It's so bad.
That's how they were.
I think I love it.
They still are.
All right. So this is gonna be a tough one, especially for you. It's tough for a lot of people. Most of them because they're little.
It's seemingly difficult to explain to some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way I think about it in my head, it's easy to fit.
What is the band for artist that you would best describes you, the way you work, your body of work, you in this industry?
I've got my favorite song of all time is "Live for This" from April.
Okay.
It's
I don't
loud
know.
and fast.
Okay.
It'll play at my funeral,
Okay.
and a lot of people like this shit.
That's
But all my buddies know that song has to play at my funeral.
yeah.
It's called "Live for This." It's like heavy metal,
Well, hate breed.
but it's a
like
Yeah.
but it's a positive song. It's the chorus is "Live for this. If you don't live for something, you'll die for nothing." And it's just, yeah, it's kind of a wide open.
see that was now everybody listen. See how that's done.
Yeah, there's always there's a song or an artist that definitely resonates with you, and for a reason.
Right.
And that's what we're living for.
All right. An even harder one. I thought that was gonna be hard. It's super easy for you. This one I think is gonna be hard because of how much you enjoy it. But unlimited budget. You can build anything. What's the build? But there's a catch. You can't build it. You got to pay somebody to do it. So who's building it and what is it?
I might surprise you on this one. I want to. Honestly, my wife and I both, we want to got the 1976 Kenworth semi truck.
Okay.
To like badass, just beautiful semi truck. We want a semi truck to just drive and have fun in.
Bobtail. You're just gonna bobtail, no trailer, just
We like cab overs at first, but we've talked about how bitching it would be to have a vintage semi truck with a double sleeper and a ramp on the back with an S10 and go.
Okay.
And that's our old person camper.
Pretty cool.
You know,
Be the talk of the campground.
we both just love semi trucks, and my dad drove a semi truck for years, a cab over Kenworth, and every time worked like husband and wife would text each other pictures of semis all the time. She's a cool chick, man. She's from Detroit.
awesome.
She's from Detroit. She's a good one. But yeah, and it would, it would make sense to have someone else build it. We do want a Kenworth someday. If it was a car, probably I want something like you guys build, like a Rick Warren badass muscle car that you guys will build. I could see that. That like you know, if I had one of you guys' cars, it wouldn't bother me if someone else built it. That's where, because that's what it is. If someone else builds it, is it gonna bother you or not?
Yeah.
Okay. We should think about that.
Think about like, you know, if there's certain guys that just have shit down that it doesn't bother.
Ford or Chevy?
Chevrolet got all the way.
Camaro or Chevelle or Howlett?
Man.
Tri-5?
Probably, honestly, a 62 bubble top has always been my favorite.
Yeah.
I had a 62 Chevy wagon in college that we drove
Okay.
to the bar, and it was awesome. It was just a 62 Chevy station wagon on 17-inch torque thrust, slammed, static drop.
Nice.
I think a bubble top is about the perfect yes. From
Which is-
ergonomics
you can't
to size,
You can't not like that
to-
car.
like it's got the trunk
Yeah.
of a you know, Escalade, right? It drives
Like Camaro.
yeah, kind of like a Camaro,
Not that
right?
big.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about it, you're like, oh, they should just built this one over and over.
And Jack Strunk, his son Drew Strunk, they had dropped that for productions. They built hot rod chassis, but Jack had a bubble top when I was like, you know, the teen years. It was just a maroon bubble top on torque thrust. And God, that car, just, every time I'd see it, I'm like,
Yeah.
even from the artist standpoint, just the silhouette of
Yeah,
it. I'm like,
specs on that.
that's it, right there. Cars, that's it. Yeah, a 62 built by you guys. Sign me up.
That's awesome.
Sign me up. I'll pay for it, I promise.
It's unlimited budget. We did one for George Poteet,
I know.
and we took it on a survivor type car. We took it on a road trip, on a road tour deal, and we were somewhere in Louisiana, right on the coast, and we didn't have any cup holders or anything in it. And, you know, on a road trip going cross country, with like big old gut buster, fucking mega gulp thing sitting right on the center or on the transom there. We were doing like 140,
Yeah.
something like that.
We
You know,
went- we left-
with it just sit there. We're looking at each other like he was driving, and I'm sitting like over here like this, no fucking seatbelts on. Both these cups just sitting on the damn transom, not even moving.
Yeah.
And he's rolling. He's looking. He's like, "This fucking car's amazing." We were like looking at the speedo. I'm like, dude, like
We left New Orleans. We left New Orleans to go to San Antonio, and the main tour. We're on a Good Guys tour, and there's probably 50 cars, something like that. Well, they all left, and they hit a stop and then hit the 20 or 10, maybe 10, and hit Croc. I think they hit 10. It's in the interstate, right? So we're like, probably not gonna do that first stop, interstate. So this is my first time being down there. So I'm looking, and we just go, Google Maps, pull up, like there's a road. It runs this whole way, and it runs the coast. I'm like, fuck, let's just run the ocean the whole way.
Yeah.
So crazy as fucking shit. Didn't even know it existed, right? We get down through there and you go through some swampland. Then you just you've got the ocean on your left hand side. We're heading to Texas, right? Ocean's on your left hand side,
swamp on your right.
and full blown swamp with live alligators.
Which you did not catch.
We tried to, right? But the road, 2-lane road, straight, fucking smooth as shit. Nobody on it. No, not a single city that you go through for, hours. But waves, 15 foot from the road on the left side, and swamp 3 foot from the road on the right side. And you're just humming. It's the same view for so long. You're riding and you're just like, fuck it, let's stop. And you walk out to the beach. You never see a car
And
pass.
those are smooth roads.
Walk
down
over
there.
to
down south.
It
those
was
are
so
smooth,
fucking
straight.
cool.
Some gas station boudin balls.
Gas station.
Yeah.
And then we stopped at we stopped at that trailer up on stilts
Yeah.
and got the shrimp po' boys. We're riding. This is all oil. There's just little communities of trailers that the people that work on oil rigs live in.
Oh yeah.
And you just roll through it. It might be one street, 50 or 60 trailers, and like no stores, no gas stations really like that. And there's this one blue mobile home up on these big stilts, right? And a sign, a hand-painted sign, and it just said, something in sandwiches, whatever. We're fucking starving. We got to eat. And it's like 5 miles before you get on the ferry to go across to Texas. And so we stop and walk up. Lady's just like, it's at her house. She's like, what do y'all want? What do you got? I got some shrimp po' boy. Yep, we'll take
great.
fucking amazing. It was so damn good.
Oh, I like that.
It was just a great overall trip. Like,
And you're using the hot rod. You remember that trip? Because you guys just sat there. That's awesome. I miss George.
Yeah.
fly.
George was badass.
George is a good dude. That's cool.
There's something about those types of roads and those types of cars when you're running a significant speed, where it's not just like a run up to that speed and go down, where you're running a significant speed for a significant amount of time and it just becomes the norm and you're having a conversation, you're doing that. When you do come back down to, 85, you're like, oh, fuck, this is boring as shit. Like, you just get...
It's the problem with making those cars work as good as they do. Like, dude, I'm running through, I was across the border from Wisconsin coming into Illinois, and the Camaros, fucking Wisconsin cops are brutal in that, like, Kenosha area. As soon as I got into Illinois, it was like 110, 115 all the way home. Just, by the car, you just fucking left lane, just roll.
Yeah.
6th gear, like it's nothing.
The other one was good was with Georgie Green from Arrow and Matt Chevelle.
Yeah.
Down that.
That was one of my favorite music and car things. When you're coming out of South Carolina. So if you're going over a big bridge, and I was driving that for the first time, it was morning, sun's just coming up, playing Whiskey Myers Gasoline comes on.
Oh.
And it was just like the perfect, like, fuck yeah, this is badass.
Yeah, I think it was at Charleston or something like that coming out that steamy day or whatever. I think we cheated death in those.
We did first. Yeah. Well, it was Matt Saxon's car at the time, and I'm like, something goes sideways. I don't even have to worry about explaining this because I'm done. Like, we're winding through like
backside of
Tennessee,
north side of the Tail of the Dragon.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And the Tail of the Dragon's done.
Oh,
now we're just in country roads and stuff. And it got a little chippy.
Yeah.
A lot of those roads, you can be cruising along in a rhythm and come up over a rise and it goes. The road does like a back turn. You're like, shit.
We started getting in a rhythm and then it kept just pushing. He was pushing. I wasn't going to be like, back off. I don't feel comfortable. I was like, well, if you stay on my bumper, that means I'm not going fast enough. So we just.
Yeah, I'm like coming into his bumper.
But you get, like you said, when you do get in that rhythm and,
Then Kyle flies by in the lights for
Yeah.
on the rev limiter. Yeah, that was fun. There's so many of those stories. Road trips are good. All right, it's a great answer on all of that. What is left on Stats Rush? I got
Law enforcement.
Yes. Yeah, which should actually
Might be a good one.
your most memorable law enforcement interactions to like.
I knew that was coming, and I'll tell you guys one of the wild sedan Louisville stories. And I'm assuming we're going to assume the statute of limitations.
Yes.
That here, this
Louisville, Texas, or Louisville, Mexico.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Louisville, Mexico.
Wild down there.
This is a wild one. We were down there at Louisville, and I'm in my sedan, and I got the bunch of the BSM boys, which was our crew we ran around with. And you guys know a bunch of them. It's crazy that all of a group of us that were such degenerate wild men have now went on to like Mike Whitney won Hot Rod of the Year, and Tom Speed has like the salt works.
He was in that crew.
Oh yeah, he was a BSM guy. Hammer Hank was BSM race. All this. Just what it went on to. We were all out partying, and we always turned it up in Louisville. And we went to this bar, and I don't remember what it was, but a little bar down there. And I'm in my sedan, and I had met Mike Curtis that day.
Okay.
Two of the Oddington boys.
Mike's never been like known for making best decisions in a party environment back in those days.
So, and like
We didn't partake much.
and then we had a Coddington boys with us. One Greg, Chris, and possibly the other one. And then some of the workers with them, like a group of them guys. And I knew who they were. We saw them in the hotel parking lot. I'm said, you got to come with us. And they didn't know who we were, but we had cool cars, so we ended up taking them. I'm in my sedan. I had my Curtis in the car with me. Two other guys. Mike Whitney was in his 57 T-Bird. So it's a 57 T-Bird. It's like primered, slammed on Supremes. He's got a couple guys with him, and there's Tony Smith was in a 54 Chev with like, I think Chris was with him. And we went out to this bar. And it was always the same thing. Like we'd start drinking and it was come turning into a bar fight. That's what we did. We'd go out. I'm not proud of it, but we would go out. We would just keep turning throttle up until something snapped and the fight was on. And you know, at that time you could get in wild bar fights and no shooting and stuff. It was right there at the edge when it wasn't smart.
That's probably before, like, you didn't know if that dude was a master of jujitsu.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Into MMOs.
Exactly right. And there was a couple of times we ran into dudes that I was just like, Jesus, that guy knew what he was doing. You know, that did happen. But we were at this bar and the shit. I pulled my sedan up out front and they had motorcycle parking in front of the bar. And I'm like,
a sign.
Yeah, I'm like, well, that means my sedan gets parked here. So I parked my sedan because I'm power bugs, love power parking. That was all really fun. So I parked the sedan right out in front of the bar, and we all go in and we're playing pool and it's getting wild and it's getting loud. And I don't know what started, but it took off and Bob Ferdinand swing on a guy over there and throwing him up against the pinball machine and just the fight breaks out and we're all swinging and fighting and Curtis and boys are right there with us, like, yeah. So we're fighting locals basically, and I remember the locals were kind of like hipsters, so hipsters ruin everything. So it was on. So we're fighting these guys, and the fight immediately gets thrown out of the bar, and we leave. And the thing is, like, let's get the hell out of here. So I remember I got in my sedan, Curtis jumped in the back, and the other two guys get in there, and I'm pretty lit, and I get in the sedan and look, and right in front of my sedan is this like cheesy kind of chopper and two other motorcyclists. And I immediately thought of Smokey the Bandit, Snowman. And I fired the sedan up and dropped the clutch and ran two of them bikes down. Boom, boom, over these fucking guys' motorcycles. Ran the motorcycles down, ran over them with my 32 Ford, fucking grabbed the gear sideways and got out of there and hauled ass. Got on the highway right there because we were going back to the hotel. I got on the highway and it was starting to rain, and I remember I'm on the highway and it's got a Muncie in it, so I'm fourth gear. We're on about 100, 110, and it's starting to hang out in the big turns on the highway. This thing's starting to move, and I'm fine. I can do that. Yeah. And I can remember one or two of the guys was scared. I remember Curtis like, he was into it. He was like, just like pumped. He was, and because I'm sure I was like, I'll scare these California boys. Yeah. Not Mike. He was with it. So we went. Well, Mike Whitney and the other guys ran to their cars. Well, when they ran to their cars, here come the cops, and the cops come ripping in, block everything off as I'm getting on the highway.
It's another plus for power parking.
Yes, precisely. So Whitney's getting in his car. The cops come in and block him, and I found this out later. The cop comes in and yells, "Who was that guy? Where's he going?" And without missing a beat, Mike Whitney goes, "His name's Josh Bacon, and he's staying at the Holiday Inn South off of Route 4. And the cop went, "Thank you," and hauled ass south and left. And Mike, I guess the other, the cognitive is like, "What are we doing?" Mike's like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here." Mike hauled ass. All the cops went south. We were going north back to the hotel. Dude. Mike went north. We made it back to the hotel. No cops. Got back to the hotel. And then I remember I pulled in. Mike Whitney pulled in front of me. Tony Smith pulled in. We created a square, which we turned into a wrestling ring. And we had to call the California guys out for a wrestling match and had a throwdown, like a fun wrestling match there in the parking lot.
Fuck yeah.
That was the BSM days.
Dude,
I don't know how
these are the stories we're looking for.
So, keep it with the brain.
Future.
Yeah.
That's what hot rodding was in like 02, 03.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some good ones. But far too often it's you're not going to believe this, but I know I stopped at the stop sign, but I came around the corner just a little too, and he gave me the sternest of attitudes.
May have chirped the tires a little bit.
To this day, the Josh Bacon joke is always strong. Josh Bacon. And then I will say right now is, if I ran over your motorcycle, if you're hearing this 20 years ago, I'm sorry. I apologize. It was not a nice thing to do. I'm sorry.
The sedan was all right. I mean, grill shell.
They have a push bar on there or something?
No, it's a high boy sedan. And that's another thing. Like, I'm sure it gouged up, scratched it. I just didn't care. But how did that car survive that shit? Oh,
Well built.
yeah, well built. Yeah. We got in another big fight in the full. One more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
This is how our buddy Tony Smith got the nickname Pony Boy. For the outsiders, he's well, he's not real well known, but he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu now. Fights in MMA like around Cincinnati and the Midwest. He was always like the best fighter amongst us. Like we'd be headbutt swinging, and he was actually putting guys down. But we were down in Louisville, and if you guys remember, 4th Street, Louisville had a bunch of bars.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was wild. So they had one bar down there that you went in, and it was 4 bars in one. It was I think it was a rap, like ghetto rap bar, a country bar, an 80s bar, and then maybe a disco bar. It was like 4 different areas. It was bad. It was
The
like
worst idea.
Worst idea.
The worst.
Oh yeah,
Big
because the rap one was full on ghetto thuglicious.
Quite the melting pot there.
Yeah.
And then you put the Cowboys in next to it.
Exactly.
with alcohol, and then also kind of give them cordoned off spaces. Be like, these are your spaces. Don't mingle.
You ready in that corner? You ready in that corner?
We'll put the bathrooms.
Yeah. Horrible idea.
Oh, it was. So we were in Tony Smith's 54 shed, and this 54 shed was black primer, bone stock, but primer slammed on the ground with red steelies. And one of the tricks we do in that car could be cruising through the car show or whatever, and Tony would have a thing of lighter fluid, and he'd spray lighter fluid on the dash and light it on fire. So it was like the dash was on fire, and people would be like, "Your car's on fire!" So we go to this bar, and I remember I remember hanging out in all of them. Like we went in the rap bar and we're dancing, you know, because we all liked rap at that time. And then we were in the 80s bar, but for the most part, we hung out in the country bar. So at the end of the night, we had been that same deal. The throttle's been turned up, and we know the fight's coming. So the bar's shut down. It's 2 a.m. Everyone goes out on the sidewalk. That's the problem. Is everyone empties out on the sidewalk, and everyone's drunk. So there was a group of guys with like collared teal and pink and salmon collared shirts.
You just left them alone and never.
Oh yeah.
These guys look cool.
Exactly. Hey fellas.
Howdy.
They were standing there, and then we're all there. And at the time, like we hadn't done the black shirt thing yet. A lot of us had black shirts, but a lot of us had white t-shirts. But we looked like greasers. I mean, some of us had our pants cuffed like greasers, and we looked like hot rodders. So Tony pulls the 54 up, and by the time he got the 54 pulled up to pick us up, because we had to do this like cool, you can pick up, show the car off. The boys with collars, they were starting to be happy, and I could tell it was getting ready to go, and they were kind of having words, but there were bouncers out there. There was 3 or 4 big bouncers. So we got in the car, tried to do the right thing. We got in the car. I got in the back seat. I remember Tony was in the front seat. Mike Whitney was in the passenger seat. It was me and Bob, a couple of guys in the back. And as we got in, the one collared shirt guy said something. You motherfucker, this, that, and the other. With it said, "Come over here and say that." And so the guy came over, and he tried to come over and punch Whitney through the passenger window. And when he swung, Whitney grabbed him, and we all grabbed this guy and pulled him into the car to where just his legs were like sticking out of the car. And we went to wailing this guy. So we're punching this guy, and his legs are sticking out.
What a terrible position.
Yeah. So his buddies grabbed his legs and pull him out. And I remember watching him go out in the air and then dropping. And I was like, "Oh, that hurt." Well, because they just wanted to get him out of there. So they pull him out. Well, then the 54's doors open, and we come out, and the fight's on. We're swinging and fighting. Whitney grabbed a guy and got him in a headlock and jumped backwards into a storefront window and shattered that window. Like, and a big chunk of glass came down and cut Whitney on his ass right here. Like, bad enough to need stitches.
Yeah.
So it cut him on his ass. He went through the window and like hit the ground, and he beat up that guy. Bob was beating up another guy. I remember I just looked at one dude and I was like, "Don't get in there. Don't get in there." And because I remember like not wanting to be a part of that fight. Like, this is not good. But as I was I'm acting tough, like, "You get in there, you're not getting there." Right. But I'm like, and the guy looked at me like, "We're cool. Like, let's all stay over here." Because the fight was going. Tony had a guy. Well, Tony grabbed one of the guys and whooped his ass pretty quick. And as he was fighting him, the bouncers yelled like, "Knock it off!" And everything stopped. And Tony had whipped this dude's ass, and these two brothers standing there. The one went, "Damn, Pony Boy done whooped his ass."
Pony Boy. It was over with.
And it was we're like, yes, Pony Boy.
Legally changed.
That was it. That was it. So we all hopped in the car, and we're like, "Yeah, Pony Boy, get in the car." And to this day, like if you go on his Instagram, now he's Tony Boy. Tony Boy. But to this day it was Pony Boy. But I also remember we got in the car and Bob was the last one to get in the car. And when I put Bob in the car, I looked out and two of the bouncers were standing there smiling. Like, yeah, well done. They liked that. It was good. It was good. I mean, that like how, you know, that shit happened way more than it should have. And I don't know how we survived it. And I don't advise it.
Wild times, man.
It was fun. It was. And I mean, there's a lot of those stories. We'll save it for next time.
Fucking amazing. Absolutely awesome time. We've got OG shirt designs. We got great historical lessons.
I don't think I've ever ate crow like this and been called out. Dude, that was a masterclass.
I'd like to say we could edit that out, but Phil's going to make sure that stays down.
Please don't. No, that's I love it. That's great. That is great. Man, that's awesome.
I love the entire arc of that story. From inception of like, hey, this is what's gonna happen this week's flight, and then the shirt, and like, oh, that's gonna change from that. This and that. And Phil's, hold on just a second, I gotta run downstairs. Really, really great. I'm glad that we got to do this. We'll have to absolutely do it again. I think we just probably scratched the surface. You gotta go about it.
Yeah, we got a great cover. We got to bring your way.
Yeah, I'd love to get a run for you. Yeah, without a doubt. That's a good one to get run. You'll enjoy that. It's a good running.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got we're gonna have some different options for for the listeners and viewers to pick what the next shirts to be. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks, man.